The loop of what if. Have you ever laid awake at night, just thinking about something that already happened? A moment, a choice, a word spoken or not spoken. This feeling where your mind keeps playing a moment over and over. That's like a mental maze. It's the loop of what if. You wonder, what if I had said something else? Or what if I had chosen differently? And the answer never really comes, because it's already in the past. Your brain tries to rewrite history. It's like a song stuck in your head. But instead of notes, it's thoughts about how things could have gone. Our minds are amazing, but sometimes they get stuck. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers wondered about choices. They asked if we really control our path or if things are just meant to be. This what-if idea is old. It's part of being human. This wish to change what is done. Imagine you forgot your homework. You spent the whole class thinking, what if I had packed my bag last night? Or what if I had woken up 5 minutes earlier? You could picture a different morning, right? But the homework is still missing. That's the loop. Your mind builds stories that can't happen. It's like being on a treadmill. You're running, but you're not going anywhere new. You're stuck in the same place, just running through old moments. This loop can feel heavy. It can make you feel stuck or sad. It can feel like a maze with no exit, because you're always looking back, not forward. Here's the thing. While it's okay to wonder, and it's part of how we learn, staying in that loop too long is hard. The past is fixed. The what if only lives in our minds. Maybe true wisdom isn't trying to exit the past, but learning to gently step out of the loop and find the present. It's about understanding that some stories are already written, and that's okay. We learn, we feel, and then we move into the now. Stuck on a mistake. Have you ever made a mistake? Maybe a small one, but it just kept replaying in your head, over and over, like a broken record. It feels like you're trapped in that moment, stuck in a loop you can't escape. That feeling, that's what we mean by being stuck on a mistake. It's when your mind keeps going back to something you wish you'd done differently, making it truly hard to move forward. Here's the thing, this isn't a new feeling. Way back, philosophers like the Stoics talked about how our thoughts can either trap us or set us free. They didn't have brain scans, but they understood that dwelling on what's already happened, especially errors, only hurts us. It's a very human thing. This loop of regret that makes us feel caught. Think about when you're working on a math problem, and you get one step wrong. If you keep staring at that wrong number, getting frustrated, you can't solve the rest of the problem. Your brain gets fixated. It's like a scratch on a CD that makes the song skip back to the same spot again and again. Psychologists call this rumination. When you keep chewing on a thought over and over, you know the answer is waiting, but your mind keeps showing you the mistake instead. But here's what I found. Being stuck doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you care. You care about doing well, about being kind, about learning. The challenge isn't to erase the mistake, but to gently guide your mind past it, to accept that it happened, to learn its lesson, and then, quietly, to let it fade, making space for what comes next. Because every ending is also a new beginning, even from a wrong turn. The shadow of tomorrow. Have you ever woken up with a quiet worry about something that hasn't even happened yet? Maybe a big test, a tryout for a team, or just what you'll say to someone later. That feeling, that weight of what's coming, that's what we call the shadow of tomorrow. It's not the future itself, not the actual day, but the idea of it. This idea stretches ahead, sometimes feeling dark and unclear, making our minds swirl with questions. Here's the thing about this shadow. Humans have always felt it. Thousands of years ago, thinkers like the old Greek philosophers understood this feeling deep in their bones. They didn't have cell phones, but they worried about battles, about their crops, and the choices leaders made. They talked about how much energy we often spend on things we can't actually control, things that live only in our minds as possibilities, and that's why it matters. This shadow can feel like a maze in our minds, a loop of what-ifs that keeps us from truly being present. Think about this. Imagine you have a big project due next week. You might start stressing about it right now, days before it's time to work. You picture all the ways it could go wrong, or how much work it will be. You might even lose sleep over these thoughts. But the project isn't due yet. The real challenge is still days away. This early worry, that's the shadow. It drains your energy today, before the actual work even begins. It's like watching a big storm gather on the horizon. You know it's coming, and you feel the chill, but the rain hasn't fallen. The storm is just a dark shape, not yet a present reality. It's natural to try and predict, to prepare. We want to be ready, but sometimes our predictions become heavy. So here's what we learn. While we can't stop tomorrow from arriving, or fully know what it will bring, we can choose how much we let its shadow darken our today. We can choose to face today with what we have, knowing that the real tomorrow is still being written, and we have a part in writing it, right now, with how we choose to live this very moment. The unknown future doesn't have to steal the light from our present peace. The shadow of tomorrow. Have you ever woken up with a quiet worry about something that hasn't even happened yet? Maybe a big test, a tryout for a team, or just what you'll say to someone later. That feeling, that weight of what's coming, that's what we call the shadow of tomorrow. It's not the future itself, not the actual day, but the idea of it. This idea stretches ahead, sometimes feeling dark and unclear, making our minds swirl with questions. Here's the thing about this shadow. Humans have always felt it. Thousands of years ago, thinkers like the old Greek philosophers understood this feeling deep in their bones. They didn't have cell phones, but they worried about battles, about their crops, and the choices leaders made. They talked about how much energy we often spend on things we can't actually control, things that live only in our minds as possibilities. And that's why it matters. This shadow can feel like a maze in our minds, a loop of what-ifs that keeps us from truly being present. Think about this. Imagine you have a big project due next week. You might start stressing about it right now, days before it's time to work. You picture all the ways it could go wrong, or how much work it will be. You might even lose sleep over these thoughts. But the project isn't due yet. The real challenge is still days away. This early worry, that's the shadow. It drains your energy today, before the actual work even begins. It's like watching a big storm gather on the horizon. You know it's coming, and you feel the chill. But the rain hasn't fallen. The storm is just a dark shape, not yet a present reality. It's natural to try and predict, to prepare. We want to be ready, but sometimes our predictions become heavy. So here's what we learn. While we can't stop tomorrow from arriving, or fully know what it will bring, we can choose how much we let its shadow darken our today. We can choose to face today with what we have, knowing that the real tomorrow is still being written, and we have a part in writing it, right now, with how we choose to live this very moment. The unknown future doesn't have to steal the light from our present peace. Comparing your inside to their outside. Have you ever looked at someone, maybe a classmate, or even a person on social media, and thought, wow, they have it all figured out. Maybe their life seems perfect, or they always look happy. But here's the thing. We often compare our deepest fears and worries, our messy inside, to the polished, carefully chosen outside that other people present. This idea of an inside and an outside isn't new. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient Greek thinkers wondered about the difference between how we appear and who we truly are. They knew that everyone has a private world of thoughts and feelings that others can't see, a secret landscape of emotions and dreams. And that's why it matters. What you see on the surface is rarely the whole story. Think about an iceberg. You only see a small part of it sticking out of the water. But below the surface, there's a huge, hidden mass of ice. Our minds and emotions are a bit like that iceberg. Someone might seem tough or confident, but underneath, they could be feeling nervous or unsure, just like you. Or they might act quiet, but inside, their mind is buzzing with ideas and worries. So, here's what happened. We tend to judge others by that visible tip of their iceberg, while we judge ourselves by our entire, sprawling hidden mass. And this can make us feel alone or not good enough. But remember, everyone has their own invisible struggles and their own quiet joys. When you remember this, it can make you a little kinder, both to others and to yourself. It reminds us that every person holds a universe within them, far more complex than anything you can see from the outside. When everyone else seems to know, have you ever sat in class, listening to a teacher, and felt totally lost? You look around, and everyone else seems to be nodding, writing notes, like they understand everything perfectly. But here's the thing. It's like you're the only one walking through fog while everyone else has a clear map. This feeling, this quiet sense of not getting it, that's a mental maze of its own. It's when a question pops into your head, but before you can even ask it, someone else answers, making it seem obvious. For centuries, people have felt this. Think about an ancient Greek thinker named Socrates. He once said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." He meant smart people admit what they don't know. It takes courage to say, "I don't know." But here's the thing. Sometimes, we're scared to show that courage. We worry if we admit confusion, others will think less of us. We imagine everyone else has answers, and we're stuck in our own maze. Here's a situation. You're in a group chat, and everyone starts using a new slang word or meme. They all seem to get the joke, replying with laughing emojis, but you're just sitting there, completely lost. You might Google it later, but in that moment, it feels like everyone has a secret language you weren't taught. It's like they have an invisible key to an inside joke, and you're outside the door. This feeling, that immediate click for everyone else, can make you feel very alone. But here's the thing. Often, those knowing faces are just good at hiding their own confusion. Maybe they're hoping someone else will ask the question they're too scared to voice. Everyone feels this way sometimes. So, next time you feel like you're the only one lost in a mental maze, remember this. The exit often starts with admitting you're searching for it. And that's why it matters. Asking for help, or simply saying I don't know, can be the first step out. It connects us, because everyone feels a little lost sometimes. Being in the fog is okay. The weight of a secret. Have you ever held onto something so tightly, a thought or a truth, that it felt like a weight in your chest? A secret is like that. It's information kept hidden, known only to you, or maybe a few trusted others. But even if others share it, the real burden often rests within you. It's a quiet maze in your mind, a path you walk alone. Every day, you carry it, unseen by the world, but deeply felt inside. It can make you feel heavy, sometimes even a little alone, because part of your truth is locked away. It's a part of you that isn't shared, a closed door in your own house. People have understood this feeling for a very long time. Ancient storytellers, centuries ago, often spoke of the importance of an open heart, or the toll of things unsaid. They knew that when we bottle things up, big or small, those feelings don't just vanish. Instead, they settle within us, like stones in a backpack. History shows us countless tales of characters who struggle with hidden truths, and how those truths shape their lives. It's part of being human, this silent struggle with what we choose to reveal and what we keep hidden. It's always been a fundamental puzzle of the human experience, a quiet tension between what is shown and what is felt. Think of it like a small pebble you pick up on the beach. At first, it's light, no big deal. But if you have to carry that pebble, and then another, and another, all day long, in your pocket, they start to add up. Soon, that collection of pebbles feels heavy. A secret is like one of those pebbles. Maybe you know a friend's hidden worry, or you saw someone do something small they shouldn't have. You carry it, and it presses down, even if no one else can see the weight. It changes how you move, how you interact, even if just a little. Your mind has to work harder to keep it tucked away, to make sure it doesn't slip out. Psychologists call this cognitive load, the mental effort it takes to manage information. A secret definitely adds to that load. It's mental work, always keeping it guarded. So, a secret isn't just words. It's energy, emotion, and a quiet commitment you make to yourself. And sometimes, the hardest part of any maze isn't finding the exit, but realizing there might not be one for certain truths. Instead, you learn to carry the knowledge, to understand its shape and its silent presence within you. It's a reminder of the quiet, complex landscapes inside all of us, and how some paths are meant only for us to walk. Trying to please everyone, why does it feel so hard sometimes, to just be ourselves, without worrying what others think? It's like you're caught in a mental maze, twisting and turning, trying to find a path that makes everyone else smile. You say yes when you want to say no. You try to fit into different groups, pretending to like what they like, even if it doesn't feel true to you. This isn't about being genuinely kind, though kindness is important. This is about a deep, often hidden need for approval, a quiet plea to be liked by every single person you meet. When you try to please everyone, you become a reflection of what others expect, not a light of who you truly are. It's a path that promises acceptance, but often leads to feeling even more alone, because no one truly knows the real you. People have faced this puzzle for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers, like the Greek philosophers, wondered about how to live a good life. They talked about finding peace inside yourself, instead of always looking for it outside, in what others think of you. They understood that chasing everyone's good opinion is like chasing the wind. It never truly settles. Imagine a chameleon. It can change its skin color to match a leaf or a branch, helping it blend in. But what if it tried to match every single color in a whole garden at once? It would be a messy, confusing swirl of colors, and the chameleon would be exhausted, completely lost in its own efforts. That's a bit like what happens when we try to please everyone. You stretch yourself thin, trying to be what everyone wants you to be. And here's the thing, you can't be everyone's favorite song. Not everyone will understand you, or even like you, and that's okay. When you spend all your energy on pleasing others, you have little left for yourself, for figuring out who you truly are, what you believe, what you want. The real exit from this maze isn't pleasing everyone. It's about finding the courage to be genuinely you, even if that means not everyone will cheer for you. It's about listening to your own quiet voice and trusting it. That's where real peace begins. The fear of messing up. Have you ever felt that quiet, heavy weight settle in your chest before you had to try something new, or when everyone was watching and you knew you just had to get it right? That's the fear of messing up. It's not just about failing, but about the feeling of failure, the embarrassment, the worry of what others might think. It's that whisper in your mind telling you to play it safe, to not even try, just to avoid the possibility of error. Think about people who lived a long time ago. For them, a mistake could be serious, like planting the wrong crop or getting lost in the woods. Their survival often depended on being precise. So, this feeling, this urge to be careful and avoid error, it's deeply wired into us. Ancient philosophers, too, wondered about perfection and human error. They knew we were flawed, but they saw the beauty in trying. Even if we stumbled. Imagine you're standing up to give a presentation in class. Your palms might get a little sweaty. You might feel your heart beat a bit faster. It's not the words you're scared of, usually. It's the idea of saying something wrong, or forgetting a line, or having your voice shake. It's like your brain is trying to protect you from a threat that isn't really dangerous, just uncomfortable. It's trying to keep you safe from judgment, like a little alarm bell. But here's the thing, every single person who has ever achieved anything, or learned something amazing, they all messed up. A lot. Mistakes aren't the end of the road. They're often the map. They show us what to change, how to grow. Maybe the bravest thing isn't to never mess up, but to mess up, learn, and then try again anyway. It's okay to feel that fear, but it's even more powerful to walk through it. The echo of someone's words. Have you ever noticed how some words just stick with you, like a song you can't get out of your head? But it's not music. It's someone's voice, a phrase they used, or a simple comment they made. You might hear it again in your mind, days, weeks, even years later. This isn't just a memory playing tricks. It's something deeper. It's the echo of someone's words. Here's the thing. Words are more than just sounds leaving our mouths or ink on a page. They have a kind of energy. When we speak, those words don't just vanish into thin air. They travel, they land, and sometimes they resonate inside another person, changing things, shaping thoughts, stirring feelings. Think about it like a ripple in a pond. You drop a small stone, and that one tiny action creates circles that spread far and wide, touching the edges of the water you didn't even aim for. Our words work a lot like that. Ancient thinkers, even long before science understood sound waves, seemed to get this. Philosophers from different cultures, centuries ago, often wrote about the power of speech. They talked about how a single phrase could inspire a nation, or how a hurtful whisper could break a spirit. They understood that words carry weight, that they are seeds planted in the mind, ready to grow, and that's why it matters what seeds we choose to plant. Maybe a teacher once told you, you have a knack for this, about a subject you found difficult, or perhaps a friend simply said, I believe in you. Those small sentences might have felt huge. They created a quiet echo that reminded you to keep trying. Or maybe someone said something unkind, and that echo made you doubt yourself for a while. That's the power, both good and bad. So, here's what I found. Every word we speak or write sends out these ripples. They become part of the world, shaping the air, shaping minds. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of echoes are we creating today? What kind of quiet music are our words leaving behind in the hearts of others? It's a gentle thought, but it holds a lot of meaning. Getting lost in the past. Have you ever just got stuck? Not physically, but in your mind. Your thoughts keep playing the same scene over and over. Something you said, or something said to you. A moment from last week, or years ago. It just keeps looping. Here's the thing about our past. It's not gone. Our memories hold on to it tightly. It's like a mental maze with no exit. You walk through a memory, reliving emotions again. No matter how many turns, you can't find a way out. You're back at the start, replaying that path. People have felt this way forever. Think about ancient stories, or grandparents talking about a regret. Humans remember. Our past shapes us. But sometimes, that shaping feels like being trapped. Philosophers wonder how memories connect to our present self. How much of you is just old moments? Here's an example. You said something awkward in class. Keep picturing it. Or missed a shot in a game, and that moment stays. Your brain keeps bringing it up, trying to change it, but you can't. It's done. It's like editing a video after it's published. The file is locked. You can watch it, but not change a single frame. And that's why it matters. Being stuck in the past is a common human experience. We can't change what happened, but we can change how we see it. We acknowledge the memory, feel what it brings up, then gently let our thoughts return to now. The past is part of our story, not our prison. It's a room we can visit, but we don't have to live there. We can choose to step out of the replay. The trap of if only. Have you ever found yourself replaying a moment, whispering, if only, ... double quotes. Maybe if only I had studied harder, or if only I hadn't said that. It's a phrase that wraps around us like a vine, pulling us back to a past we can't change. It's a mental maze, isn't it? One with no real exit, because the way out isn't found by going back, but by moving forward. This feeling isn't new. People have struggled with it for centuries. Ancient thinkers, long before our time, understood how much power we give to things we can no longer control. They noticed how much energy we spend wishing for a different past, instead of shaping our present. It's like holding onto a memory, trying to reshape it, even though it's already set in stone. Think about a time you tripped and fell, maybe on the playground. In that moment, you might think, if only I had looked, or if only I had tied my shoelace tighter. While it's natural to wish you could avoid the scrape, dwelling on if only doesn't heal the knee. It just makes you relive the fall. It keeps your mind stuck on the moment right before impact, instead of focusing on getting up. Psychologists sometimes call this rumination, a fancy word for replaying negative thoughts over and over. It's like a broken record playing the same sad song. But here's the thing, those if only moments, while they can hurt, also carry a quiet lesson. They remind us we can't change yesterday, but we can learn from it. We can choose how we react today. The real strength isn't in wishing the past away, but in accepting it, understanding what it taught us, and then gently letting go. It's about recognizing the trap and stepping out of it, into the wide open space of what comes next. What if we shifted that, if only to next time, I will, ... That's where the exit truly lies. Feeling like you're not enough. Have you ever felt that quiet whisper inside? The one that says you're not quite smart enough, or strong enough, or good enough. It can pop up when you see someone else shine, or when things don't go exactly as you hoped. This feeling, this heavy sense of not measuring up, can feel like a heavy cloak, wrapping around you and making everything a little harder. It's a deep emotional maze, really, where every path seems to lead back to the same confusing wall. The thought that you just don't stack up. This isn't a new feeling, though. For thousands of years, people have wrestled with this. Even ancient thinkers, like those in Greece, thought a lot about what it meant to be a good person, or to live a good life. They faced their own doubts, asking questions about self-worth and purpose. And so, this feeling of not being enough actually connects us to a long line of human experience, a shared struggle that reaches across time. It reminds us we're not alone in feeling this way. Here's an example. Imagine you love to draw, but you see someone else's amazing artwork online. Suddenly, that little voice starts. It tells you your drawings aren't as good, so why even bother? So, you stop sketching for a while. It's like a silent brake being pressed. This feeling of not enough often keeps us from trying new things or even celebrating the good things we do accomplish. It's like your mind is a spotlight, and it's chosen to only light up your perceived weaknesses, leaving your strengths in the dark. But here's the thing, that feeling, however powerful it seems, isn't the full truth of you. It's just a feeling, like hunger or joy, and feelings come and go. You are so much more than that one doubting thought. You are growing, learning, and changing every single day. The sun always rises, even after the longest night, and your worth, your unique light, isn't dimmed by a passing cloud of self-doubt. It's still there, waiting for you to see it. The maze of choices. Have you ever stopped and really thought about how many choices you make every day? From the moment you wake up, even before your feet hit the floor, you're already in it. Do you hit snooze or get up? Cereal or toast? What shirt should you wear? Each little decision is a path taken, and the paths not taken just disappear. This constant stream of deciding, that's what we call the maze of choices. It's a mental maze with no walls you can see, but you definitely feel them. For thousands of years, people have wondered about choices. Long ago, thinkers asked if we truly have free will, or if everything is already decided for us. It's a deep question, and here's the thing. Even if someone else thinks your path is set, for you, it still feels like a choice. Each moment feels real. Think about choosing your friends. For example, you connect with some people, and a friendship grows. But what about the others? The kids you didn't talk to, the group you didn't join. That's a decision, even if you didn't plan it out. That choice changes your days, your conversations, maybe even who you become. It's like standing at a fork in a forest. You pick one path, and the trees quickly hide the other one. You can't see where it goes, and you can't go back, and that's why it matters. This maze isn't about winning or losing. It's about how each tiny choice, each step you take, shapes the ground you stand on. It creates your personal story. It can feel heavy, sure, this constant choosing, but maybe the real point isn't to find an exit from the maze. Maybe it's about understanding that every choice you make, big or small, adds another line to the map of who you are becoming. It's your map, and you get to draw it. Why do I keep doing this? Have you ever felt stuck, repeating the same actions or thoughts, even when you know they aren't helping? It's like walking a path in your mind that leads to a wall. This is a mental maze with no exit, that confusing feeling of wanting to stop, but somehow, you just can't. Here's the thing. Humans have wondered about this for a long time. Even ancient thinkers noticed how we get caught in patterns. They saw how easy it is to fall into habits, good or bad. Our minds can trick us into thinking a familiar path is the only one, even if it causes pain. It's like our brains prefer what's known, even when that known path is a dead end. Think about a video game. You get stuck on a level, trying the same strategy over and over, even though it fails every time. You know it's not working, but something makes you try just one more time. It feels safer to keep trying what you know than to pause, step back, and try something new. Our minds do that too. We get comfortable with certain ways of thinking, and it takes real effort to break free. So, why do we keep doing it? Maybe changing feels scary, or the comfort of the familiar is powerful. But here's what I found. Just asking why do I keep doing this is the very first step out of the maze. It's a quiet moment of honesty. In that moment, you create a flicker of light, a chance to choose a different direction, even if it's just a small step from the well-worn path. It's about being kind to yourself as you try to find a new way forward. The pressure to be perfect does it sometimes feel like you're walking a tightrope, high above a crowd, and one wrong step means everything falls apart. That's what the pressure to be perfect can feel like. It's this deep, quiet ache that whispers you have to get everything just right, that there's no room for mistakes. And if you mess up, even a tiny bit, it feels like the whole world notices, and you've failed somehow. Here's the thing. For thousands of years, people have grappled with this idea of perfection. Ancient thinkers like the Greek philosopher Plato even imagined perfect, unchanging forms existing somewhere, like a perfect circle that no drawn circle could ever truly match. But he also understood that the world we live in is full of imperfection, full of change. So, here's how it works in your daily life. Maybe you spend hours on a school project, hoping it's flawless, or you agonize over what to wear, wanting to look just right. Think about how a scientist works in a lab. If they wait for a perfect experiment setup where absolutely nothing can go wrong, they'd never discover anything. Instead, they try, they fail, they learn, and they try again. It's through the errors, the things that aren't perfect, that real discovery happens. This feeling, this push for flawless results, it can make us freeze up. It can stop us from even trying new things, just because we're afraid of not being the best, of not being perfect. But here's what I found. Maybe being perfect isn't the point. Maybe the beauty isn't in reaching an impossible ideal, but in the effort, in the learning, in the simple, messy act of being human. It's okay to stumble. It's in those moments, when things aren't perfect, that we often grow the most. Stuck in a cycle of worried, do you ever get that feeling where a thought just won't leave your head? It runs around and around, even when you try to push it away. This is a cycle of worry. It's not just thinking about a problem. It's when your mind keeps replaying it, searching for answers it can't find, or imagining all the bad things that could happen. It feels like a mental maze, but every path leads back to the start. No exit, just more paths that feel the same. Your brain gets caught in this loop, and it can be really tiring. Like running on a treadmill that never stops. Long ago, even ancient thinkers knew about this. Philosophers like the Stoics, from ancient Greece and Rome, often wrote about how our thoughts can trap us. They believed a lot of our suffering came not from what happened, but from how we thought about it. They tried to understand why our minds get stuck. They wanted us to learn to just observe these thoughts, not get totally pulled in. They aimed for a kind of inner peace. Don't think of it like being stuck in traffic. You know you'll get where you're going, but sitting there, watching the same cars, the same scenery, makes you feel restless. You wish you could fast forward or take a shortcut, but you can't. Your mind does that with worry. It gets stuck on the same roadblock again and again. A calmer feeling feels miles away. It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? But here's the thing. Just noticing you're in this cycle is a big first step. It's like seeing the maze for what it is, rather than getting lost inside it. Knowing it's a cycle, not a permanent state, can offer a tiny bit of quiet in all the noise. The burden of expectations. Have you ever felt a heavy weight on your shoulders? A quiet pressure that wasn't a backpack or a chore. It's a feeling many of us know well. This pull to be more, do more, or achieve something specific. Here's the thing. Often, that weight comes from expectations. Sometimes, we expect a lot from ourselves. Perfect grades, or mastering a skill fast. Other times, they come from outside. Maybe your family hopes you'll follow a certain path, or your teachers expect you to excel, or even your friends expect you to always be there. These hopes, when too big, can turn into a burden. They can feel like a maze, trapping you between who you are and who you feel you must be. Even old thinkers wrestled with this. They knew that trying to please everyone, or meet all your own high standards, could cause much stress. They thought about living true to yourself, not constantly chasing what others wanted. This old wisdom still matters. Finding peace often means seeing where these expectations truly start. Think about a big science project. You want it to be amazing. Your teacher said it needs to be innovative. Your friends talk about their elaborate models. Suddenly, your good idea feels small. You might spend extra hours, losing sleep, just trying to meet those expectations. The project becomes less about learning, more about proving something, and the joy disappears. So, what if we could gently untangle ourselves from these burdens? This doesn't mean you don't care or don't try your best, but it does mean recognizing that your worth isn't tied to always hitting every target. It's about finding a quiet strength in who you are right now, and understanding that some mazes just help us see where we truly want to go, not where others expect us to end up. Wishing you could disappear. Have you ever felt so completely overwhelmed, so terribly embarrassed, that you wished you could just vanish? Not in a magic trick kind of way, but truly disappear. Like you could just press a button and become invisible, or simply cease to exist in that moment. Here's the thing. That feeling, that deep urge to escape notice, is a mental maze many of us wander into. It's a powerful, quiet wish to be unseen, unheard, and unburdened by the world around us. This isn't a new feeling. For centuries, people have thought about wanting to retreat. Even old philosophers and writers talked about needing to step away from all the noise, to find a place where they weren't judged or seen. They weren't always thinking about literally disappearing, but about finding a kind of inner peace by detaching from things that felt too heavy. They understood that sometimes the weight of being seen can be too much to carry. Think about a small, shy animal, like a hermit crab. When something scary or loud comes close, what does it do? It pulls itself right into its shell. It's not trying to run away forever. It just needs a moment, a safe space, to feel protected and hidden until the danger or discomfort passes. That's a bit like us when we wish to disappear. It's not about giving up, but about a sudden need for a safe emotional shell. Maybe you messed up an answer in class, or tripped in the hallway, or just felt like all eyes were on you in a bad way. In those moments, you just want to shrink down, to be small, to not exist in that spotlight dot. So, when that feeling whispers to you, remember, it's not weakness. It's often your mind asking for a quiet moment, a break from feeling exposed. It's a signal that you might need space, a chance to breathe, and just be, without feeling the pressure of every gaze or expectation. The battle inside your head. Have you ever felt like there's a quiet argument happening right inside your own head? Not with someone else, but deep down, between different parts of you. It's like one part wants to do something brave, and another part is totally scared. Or maybe one voice tells you to be kind, but another part just feels annoyed. This is the battle inside your head, and it's a very real thing. Here's the thing. Everyone has these moments. It's that deep, sometimes confusing struggle between what you think you should do and what you really feel like doing. It's your logical side versus your emotional side, or your dreams fighting your fears. This isn't a new idea. Long ago, even people like the old Greek thinkers noticed this inside themselves. They saw how our thoughts and feelings can sometimes be like separate teams, each wanting to be heard, each pulling you in a different direction. Think about it like this. You have a big test coming up, and you know you should study. But then, a friend texts you about a fun movie night. One part of your mind yells, "Study, you need to pass this," and another part whispers, "Go have fun. You deserve a break." That's your inner battle playing out. It's not about being weak or confused. It's about being human. Your mind is a complex place, full of different impulses and ideas. And here's what I found. This inner struggle isn't something to be afraid of. It means you're really thinking, really feeling. It means you're trying to figure things out, to grow, and to become the person you want to be. Understanding this battle, just knowing it's there, can make you feel a little less alone in your own thoughts. It's a part of what makes you you. When you just can't decide. Have you ever stood in front of two doors, both leading somewhere you want to go, but you can only pick one? Or maybe both paths look equally unappealing, and you wish there was a third choice, an escape. That feeling, a heavy knot in your stomach, is a mental maze with no obvious exit. It's not about right or wrong sometimes, but about two things that seem equally weighted, pulling you in opposite directions. This kind of stuck feeling, where choices battle each other in your mind, isn't new. Ancient thinkers talked about this struggle. They wondered how we pick when reason and feeling are at war, or when logic gives no clear answer. Imagine a donkey, very hungry and very thirsty, placed exactly between a pile of hay and a bucket of water. It can't decide, because both are equally appealing and close. This idea, called Buridan's ass, shows how even animals can freeze when options are perfectly balanced. And it's not just donkeys. Think about choosing between two groups of friends on a Saturday night. Both are fun, but you can only be in one place. Your heart wants both. Your mind struggles, and time keeps moving. Or a project due. Spend extra time making it perfect, or go to soccer practice. One means a better grade, the other means teamwork. Both feel important, both have consequences. Sometimes, the no exit isn't outside you, but from the difficulty of your own inner weighing. In these moments, when our minds spin, we learn what truly matters. It's okay to feel that struggle. It reminds us our choices have meaning, even with no easy answer. Trying to decide, feeling that tension, helps us understand ourselves better. It's a quiet lesson in the complexity of being human. The endless scroll of comparisons. Do you ever just find yourself looking at other people, maybe online, seeing someone's perfect vacation, or just at school, noticing what someone else has, or how easy things seem for them? Here's the thing, we all do it. We compare. It's like a never-ending journey, a scroll that just keeps going. You see perfect photos, or great grades, or lots of friends, and then, without even trying, you start measuring your own life against theirs. Is my stuff good enough? Am I popular enough? It can feel like you're always chasing something, but never quite catching up. This isn't just a new social media thing. For a very long time, wise thinkers noticed this. They saw that if you tried to be happy by always looking at what others had, it was a tough road. It often led to feeling like you had less, or were never truly complete. It's a bit like trying to measure the whole ocean with just a teacup. You can keep scooping, but the ocean always seems bigger, and you might miss the beauty of the water you actually have. Think about a river. It just keeps flowing, always bringing new water, new sights. The scroll of comparisons is a lot like that river. There is always someone new to compare to, something new to want. It can feel like a current pulling you, making you feel like you're never quite enough. It can feel heavy, this constant measuring. But here's a thought. Maybe the key isn't to stop the river from flowing, but to choose when you stand on its banks. To understand that everyone has their own path, their own hidden struggles and joys. Your own story is important, not because it's better or worse than someone else's, but because it's yours. Finding peace means valuing your own journey, your own unique space, even when the world shows you so many other routes. and that's a quiet kind of strength. Afraid to speak your mind. Has silence ever felt heavier than words? That strange quiet pull when you know what you need to say, but something stops you. It's like a mental maze, a winding path in your own head, where the exit is blocked by doubt. This is what it means to be afraid to speak your mind. This hesitation, this fear of what might happen if your true thoughts get out, is a common feeling. Long ago, thinkers like Socrates spoke about the importance of questioning things, of sharing ideas, but even then, people risked much for speaking differently. Think about it. Many great thinkers, people who changed the world, were first told their ideas were wrong or strange. They faced fear, but they chose to voice their truth. This human struggle has been around forever. Your thoughts are like tiny, bright fireflies. If you keep them trapped in a jar, never letting them out, they can't light up the night. You don't get to see their glow either. Maybe in class you have a really good idea for a project, but you don't raise your hand. You worry if it's smart enough, or if someone will laugh at it. So, that brilliant spark stays hidden inside. But here's the truth. Every voice, even a whisper, matters. Not just for others, but deeply for you too. Letting your thoughts breathe, letting them out into the world, can feel like finding the way out of a quiet, confusing maze. It's a slow journey, sometimes, but it's okay to start small, to speak when your heart feels ready. Your words hold their own gentle power. They deserve to be heard. The lie you tell yourself. Have you ever whispered a story to yourself that wasn't quite true? A quiet thought, a hidden reason for not trying or holding back. This isn't about big lies to others. It's about the small, secret untruths we tell our own hearts. Like a soft blanket over an uncomfortable truth, we use it to feel safe, to avoid difficult things. Here's the thing, everyone does it. People noticed this habit for ages. Ancient thinkers talked about how hard it is to truly know yourself. Our minds can be tricky, building walls around truths that might sting. Our brain tries to protect us, sometimes from things that would help us grow. These are mental mazes that keep us circling, often without realizing we're trapped. Imagine a student struggling with math. They might tell themselves, "I'm just not a math person." This lie feels comforting, excusing them from trying harder. But what if it's not true? What if they need a different way to learn, or more practice? Believing that lie keeps them from seeking help, extra time, or discovering their ability. That lie becomes a heavy chain, stopping them from a real solution. It's like looking into a cloudy mirror. You see a blurry image and accept it. But here's the problem. That cloudy image isn't the full picture. To truly move forward, to feel quiet peace, sometimes we need to gently put down that soft blanket. We need to look at what we've been telling ourselves and ask, is that really true, or just a comfortable story? Facing these quiet untruths is uncomfortable, but it's also the start of finding your truest self, opening a door in a maze you thought had no exit. And that's why it matters, because truth, even a hard one, eventually sets us free. Holding on to a grudge. Have you ever felt that dull, heavy ache inside after someone hurt your feelings? Maybe a friend said something mean, or someone you trusted let you down. You try to move on, but a part of you just can't let it go. This feeling, this stubborn refusal to forgive, this constant replay of the wrong done, that's what we call holding on to a grudge. Here's the thing, a grudge is like carrying a heavy, invisible backpack filled with rocks. Each rock is a memory of hurt, a moment of anger, a feeling of betrayal. You carry it everywhere. It weighs you down, slows you down, makes everything harder. Even ancient thinkers understood that holding on to anger often hurt the person holding it more than the person who caused it. They saw it as a kind of self-imprisonment. Think about it like this. Imagine you get a small cut. It stings, right? But if you keep picking at the scab, keep touching the wound, it never really heals properly. It stays sore, maybe even gets worse. That's what a grudge does to your mind and heart. You keep picking at the emotional wound, so it stays raw and painful. It stops you from fully enjoying good moments, because a part of you is always focused on that old hurt. But here's what I found. When you decide to put down that heavy backpack, when you choose to stop picking at that old wound, something amazing happens. It's not about saying what someone did was okay. It's about deciding you deserve to feel lighter. You deserve peace. Letting go of a grudge isn't for the other person. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's how you find an exit from your own mental maze, a way to finally be free. The thought that won't leave. Have you ever had a thought, a single idea, that just wouldn't budge from your mind? Like a song stuck on repeat, But instead of music, it's a feeling or a question. Here's the thing, sometimes our brains get caught. It's like finding yourself in a maze, but this maze isn't made of hedges. It's made of your own thoughts. And this one thought, this one idea, keeps leading you back to the same spot, over and over. You try to move on, but there it is again, waiting. People have felt this for a very long time. Thinkers from ancient Greece, like Plato, wondered about how our minds work. They knew our thoughts weren't always easy to control. They saw how ideas could take hold, almost like a separate force within us. Even back then, people explored how to find peace when a thought felt like a stubborn shadow. They looked for ways to understand why some ideas cling, almost like burrs on your clothes that you can't quite shake off. Maybe it's a mistake you made yesterday, replaying the moment you said the wrong thing. Or it could be a worry about something coming up, like a big presentation. Your brain keeps showing you the same scene, imagining the same bad outcome. It's like a tiny, insistent whisper that won't fade, even when you try to busy yourself with other things. You know you should let it go, but it feels glued to your awareness, spinning its own little story. And that's why it matters. These thoughts that won't leave aren't always bad. They just show us how powerful our minds are, and how they sometimes cling. It reminds us that our inner world is deep and complex. Learning to notice these thoughts, without judgment, can be a quiet journey. It's a chance to understand yourself a little better, to see the intricate paths your own mind creates, even when there seems to be no exit from a particular idea. Trying to control everything. Have you ever felt that tight squeeze in your chest? The one that whispers, if only I could just make this happen. Or if everyone would only do what I know is best. It's a powerful feeling, isn't it? This deep, often hidden desire to be in charge of every detail, every outcome, every person around us. It's a mental maze many of us wander through, thinking if we just push hard enough, pull tight enough, we can steer the whole world. But here's the thing, much of life simply isn't ours to command. Imagine a river. You can try to change its path, but it has its own powerful current, its own journey. Thinkers for thousands of years have explored this. Ancient Stoics, for example, understood it deeply. They taught that true peace comes from knowing the difference between what we can control, like our actions, attitudes, and efforts, and what we cannot control, like other people's choices, the weather, or even the past. Think about a science experiment in class. You can follow all the steps carefully. You can measure everything perfectly. You can pay close attention. But sometimes, even with all your best efforts, the result isn't quite what you expected. Maybe chemicals react differently, or conditions in the room subtly shift. You controlled what you could, but the universe had other plans. It's like that with friendships. You can be kind, be honest, be a good listener, but you can't force someone to like you, or control their feelings. That's their own river, flowing on its own. And so, here's a calm thought. Maybe true strength isn't trying to control everything, but understanding what pieces are truly yours to hold. There's a gentle freedom in letting go of reins we were never meant to carry. It's not giving up. It's finding peace in the natural flow of things, giving our energy to the few, important things we truly can influence. The sting of regret. Have you ever made a choice, and later, wished with all your heart you could just rewind time? That heavy feeling, that ache when you think about a past moment you can't change. That's the sting of regret. It's a quiet whisper, or sometimes a loud shout, in your mind, saying, if only, ... And that feeling can really weigh you down. It's not just you who feels this. This is a deeply human experience. For thousands of years, people have grappled with this feeling. Ancient thinkers, like the Greek philosophers, talked about living a life without regret, knowing even back then how powerful and difficult it could be. They understood that once a moment passes, it's gone forever, and we are left with the echo of our decisions. Here's the thing. Regret hits us because we know we had a chance to act differently, and we didn't. It's like seeing a path you didn't take, a path that now feels better. Think about a time you decided not to speak up when you saw something unfair happening to a friend, or maybe you chose to spend all your time playing video games instead of finishing an important project. Then, later, you see the consequences. Your friend was hurt, or you got a bad grade, and that feeling washes over you. Your stomach tightens, and your mind keeps replaying the moment. It's a loop, like a mental maze you can't find your way out of, wishing for a different outcome. Psychologists say this replaying is our brain trying to learn, trying to make sense of what happened. It's a powerful lesson machine, even when it feels painful. But here's what I found. While we can't change what already happened, we can change how we carry it. Regret, in a strange way, can actually be a teacher. It points to what we truly value. It whispers lessons about bravery, or kindness, or the importance of trying. It shows us where our heart really lies. And maybe, just maybe, understanding that painful sting helps us make different, more thoughtful choices next time. It's a quiet reminder that every moment matters, and we are always growing, always becoming, even from our toughest, most regretful feelings. Why can't I just say no? Have you ever felt a strange tug inside when someone asks you to do something, and your first thought is no, but the word just won't come out? It's like your mouth freezes, and a different word, yes, slips out instead. Why is it so hard to just say no sometimes? It feels like such a simple word, really, but for many of us, it gets caught in our throats. We stand there, feeling a mix of wanting to be kind, wanting to be liked, and a quiet ache of wanting to be true to ourselves. Here's the thing, this feeling isn't new, and you're not alone in it. Long, long ago, even ancient thinkers wondered why we seek approval so much. They saw how deeply people wanted to be part of a group, how much they feared standing alone. Being accepted, being liked, it feels good. It's almost built into us. For our ancestors, being part of the tribe meant safety and survival. If you were cast out, it was dangerous. That deep-seated need to belong, to not upset the group, still whispers to us today, even when we're just picking out a movie with friends. Imagine this. Your friends are all excited about going to a party you really don't want to attend. Maybe you're tired, or it just doesn't feel like your kind of fun. But when they look at you, eyes bright, asking, "You're coming, right?" It's so much easier to nod and smile than to say, "Actually, no, I think I'll stay home." That moment, that little hesitation, that silent fight inside, that's where the no gets stuck. It's not about being weak. It's about that old echo, that longing to fit in, to keep the peace, to avoid potential judgment. And that's why it matters to understand it. When we feel that pull, that struggle to speak our truth, it's a reminder of our shared human story. It tells us that wanting to belong is okay, but so is knowing our own heart. That tangle of feelings is real. The quiet strength to be yourself often starts with just noticing that inner fight, and learning that saying no can be a gentle act of self-care. It's a quiet bravery, listening to that small, true voice inside. The pressure of fitting in. Have you ever felt that tight squeeze, that restless whisper inside you, telling you to be someone different, just to belong? It's a feeling many of us know well, this quiet ache to fit in, to be accepted by a group. Sometimes it means changing how you talk, what you wear, or even what you pretend to care about. You just want to feel like you're part of something, part of them. And here's the thing, this isn't just a you problem. For thousands of years, humans have felt this pull. Way back, when our ancestors lived in small tribes, fitting in wasn't just about feeling good. It was about survival. Being part of the group meant protection, food, and safety. If you were left out, you were in danger. This need to connect, to be part of the tribe, it's wired deep into us. An ancient echo in our modern lives. Think about a chameleon. It changes its color to match its... It does this to stay safe, to blend in so predators can't see it. Sometimes, we act a bit like that chameleon. We might change our opinions on a movie or a trend, just because everyone else seems to love it, even if we secretly don't. Or maybe you try hard to laugh at jokes you don't find funny, just to keep the good vibes going. That constant shifting, it can be really tiring. But here's what I found. Chasing after belonging by pretending to be someone else can be a maze with no real exit. The deeper you go, the more lost you might feel from your true self. True belonging isn't about blending in with every background, but about finding the space where you can be your true, unique color, and still be seen, understood, and loved for exactly who you are. That's a peace worth searching for. Feeling fake sometimes. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like you were seeing a stranger? Or been in a group, laughing, talking, and a quiet whisper inside your head says, "This isn't really me." That strange, unsettling feeling. It's like you're wearing a costume, playing a part, and any minute, someone's going to pull off your mask and see the real you, who isn't good enough. This worry of being a fraud, even after doing something amazing, is just that deep feeling of being fake. Here's the thing, you're not alone. Way back, ancient Greek thinkers, like Socrates, told everyone to know thyself. They understood how tricky it could be to truly understand who we are. For centuries, people wondered about authenticity, being truly ourselves. Did our actions always match what we felt inside? It's like a puzzle our minds have been trying to solve forever. Think about it this way. Imagine getting a good grade on a tough test, one you earned. Still, a tiny part of you might think, I just got lucky. Or they'll realize I'm not that smart on the next one. Or starting a new club, you might act confident, trying to fit in. But underneath, you're nervous, wondering if you're good enough, if people will see through your act. It's like we put on a social mask, not to trick people, but just to navigate the world. And that's okay. This feeling, this doubt, it's not a sign you are fake. It's often a sign that you're growing, trying new things, pushing yourself. It shows you care about who you are. Maybe the journey isn't about finding one true self, but accepting all your different, changing versions. Your feelings are real, even when you sometimes feel like they're not. It's a quiet part of being human, a gentle maze that reminds us to be kind to ourselves. The loop of jealousy. Have you ever felt that quiet, unsettling pull when you see someone else get something amazing? Maybe a friend gets the lead role in the play, or they show off a brand new game console you've wanted forever. For a moment, you might feel happy for them, but then, a different feeling creeps in. It's like a tiny, twisting knot in your stomach, whispering, why not me? This feeling is a familiar maze, one many of us get stuck in. This is the loop of jealousy. Here's the thing, jealousy isn't just one single moment of feeling bad. It's a whole cycle. You see what someone else has, and then you start comparing it to what you don't have. This makes you feel like something is missing in your own life, and then you might even start to resent the other person. Not because they did anything wrong, but just because they have something you want. This feeling then feeds back into itself, making you look for more things to compare, digging you deeper into the loop. People have thought about this feeling for a very long time. Ancient thinkers, even thousands of years ago, understood how jealousy could trap a person. They saw it as a kind of emotional prison, where your focus turns outward, constantly watching what others have, instead of appreciating your own path. Imagine your classmate gets an amazing score on a big test, and you didn't do as well. You studied hard, but their score was just ... better. You might feel that familiar twinge. Your mind might start telling you that you're not smart enough, or that your efforts don't count. And you might even feel a little annoyed at your classmate, even though they worked for their success. This is a common mental maze where your own achievements suddenly seem smaller, not because they are, but because you're comparing them to someone else's. The loop of jealousy doesn't have a clear exit if you keep walking the same path. But here's what I found. Just noticing that you're in the loop can be the first step out. It's about gently realizing when you're comparing yourself, and then turning your attention back to your own world, your own efforts, and what makes you unique. Because your story, your effort, and your worth are yours alone, and they don't depend on anyone else's spotlight. Stuck in the middle, have you ever felt truly caught, suspended between two ideas, with no clear way forward? It's a strange, heavy feeling. You're not at the beginning, and the end is nowhere in sight. You're just ... there. This feeling of being utterly stuck, it's like a mental maze with no exit. Walls seem to appear no matter which way you turn. You push, you pull, but nothing moves. Your mind feels stuck. Even ancient thinkers talked about this sensation. Philosophers in ancient Greece explored dilemmas. These were situations where every choice had a problem, a flaw, or caused pain. They understood this feeling of being held, not by physical chains, but by the difficulty of the mind itself. Unable to decide easily. It's not just a hard problem. It's the deep weight of being unable to move, a quiet paralysis. Think about this. Your two best friends are in a huge fight. Both want you to take their side. You care about them equally. Picking one deeply hurts the other. You stand there, wanting things to go back to normal, but seeing no path without causing more damage. You feel helpless, just stuck. Or imagine a science experiment that just won't work. No matter what you change, you've rechecked everything, but the results are always the same, not what you expected. You can't figure out why. You're stuck in confusing data, a frustrating puzzle. And here's the quiet truth about being stuck. It's not a sign of failure. Often, this is where our minds work hardest, asking deep questions. This suspended feeling, this uncertainty, means your brain is truly trying to understand something complex, searching for a path that isn't easy. It asks us to be patient, to look closer, to consider things we might have missed. It's a quiet challenge, pushing us past easy answers to find something real. Sometimes, just sitting in that middle space, waiting, is the most profound lesson of all. The fear of missing out. Have you ever scrolled through your phone, seeing pictures of friends laughing, doing something fun, and felt a tiny pinch in your chest, like a whisper telling you, you should be there too? That feeling, that quiet worry, it has a name, the fear of missing out. We call it Fomo. It's when you think others are having a better, more exciting time than you, and you're not part of it. It's not just about parties. It can be about missing a joke, a secret, or just feeling like everyone else understands something you don't. It's a feeling of being on the outside, looking in. Here's the thing. This isn't a new feeling, even if social media makes it bigger today. People have always wanted to belong. Imagine ancient times. Maybe a hunter saw another group bringing back a bigger feast and felt a pang, or a philosopher heard about a great debate in another city, wishing they were there. The way we connect has changed, but the deep human wish to be included, to not be left behind, that's been around forever. Think of it like this. Have you been in class, and everyone talks about a new movie, but you haven't seen it? You might feel a little out of the loop, a bit sad you're not part of the excited chatter. Or, imagine a flock of birds. If one bird sees others flying toward a patch of berries, it naturally wants to follow. It doesn't want to miss out on the best food. This can help you see how our brains notice what others do, just in case it's important. But here's the problem. When we let FOMO guide us too much, we forget to enjoy where we are, right now. We chase after what could be, instead of seeing the good in what is. Sometimes, the most important moments aren't happening somewhere else. They're happening right here, within you. So, sometimes it's good to close your eyes to the what-ifs and open them to the what-is. When friends grow apart, have you ever looked at a friend and felt a quiet shift, like a silent space growing between you? It's a strange, sometimes lonely feeling. It's not always a big argument. Sometimes, friends just start walking different paths, almost without noticing. Their interests change, their priorities shift, or maybe they just see the world in new ways that don't quite align anymore. Here's the thing. People have thought about this for a very long time. Philosophers, even way back in ancient Greece, understood that life is all about change. They knew that everything, including friendships, is always moving. It's like how a river keeps flowing. The water in it is always new and moving on. They believed that change is a natural part of growing up, and our relationships change to dot. Think about two seeds planted right next to each other. They both get sun and water. They both sprout. But as they grow, one might become a tall oak, needing shade, and the other, a sun-worshipping sunflower. They still came from the same soil, but their needs and directions are different now. It's a bit like that with friends. One might get really into coding, while the other finds joy in writing poetry. Both are good, but their daily worlds just start to drift apart. It can be sad when friendships change like this. There's an ache for what used to be, for shared jokes and understandings. But here's what I found. This drifting isn't a failure. It's a sign of growth. Both people are becoming more themselves, following the paths that call to them. And sometimes, even though one path ends, it opens up space for new friendships, new connections, and new versions of yourself to bloom. It's a quiet lesson in letting go, and understanding that some bonds, even if they lessen, still hold important memories. The silence after a fight, that quiet time, right after a big argument, when the yelling stops, or the angry words fade away. It's not just the sound going away, it's a whole different kind of quiet. This silence can feel heavy, like a blanket thrown over everything. It's not empty, it's full of the things that didn't get said, or the things that got said too loudly. Here's the thing, your mind often gets caught in this silence. It's like a maze with no easy exit. You replay moments, you wonder what you could have done differently. You feel the sting of what was said. This feeling is old. Even in ancient stories, people like kings and queens, or friends and family, argued, and then, there was always that deep, waiting stillness afterward. The quiet was a stage where emotions played on, even without words. Think of it like this. Imagine a loud bell ringing next to you. When it stops, you still feel the vibration in your ears, right? That's a bit like the silence after a fight. The noise is gone, but the feelings, the echoes of the argument, they linger. They settle in the air and in your head. It's your brain trying to sort through all the chaos that just happened. It's trying to put the pieces back together, or maybe just figure out what's broken. So, what do we do with this deep quiet? It's not just a pause, it's a moment. It gives you space to breathe, even when it feels hard. It's a time to truly feel your feelings, good or bad, without more noise getting in the way. It's a chance for your heart and mind to catch up. This silence can actually be a path to understand yourself, and maybe even the other person. It's a tough maze, but it holds a quiet lesson. Always needing approval. Have you ever felt your happiness hinge on someone else's opinion, or that you only felt good about something if others praised it? It's a strange feeling, this quiet need for others to say, "You're good enough." We might not even realize it. Often, we tie our self-worth to likes online, compliments from friends, or good grades. When these come, we feel a rush, a sense of belonging. But if they don't, a cold doubt creeps in. Am I not enough? This isn't just wanting to be liked. It's believing someone else's opinion defines you. Humans have struggled with this for thousands of years. Ancient Greek thinkers, like the Stoics, taught that true peace comes from within. It's about knowing your own values, not chasing applause or avoiding criticism. They understood if your happiness relies on others, you give away control of your feelings. In early human groups, being accepted was vital for survival. So, our brains are still wired to care about what the tribe thinks. It's kind of like being a phone that only works if it's always plugged into someone else's outlet. You can't just power yourself up. Imagine you spend hours creating art or writing a story. You feel proud. But then you show it to a few people, and they don't say much. Suddenly, that pride shrinks. Your joy evaporates. Your sense of accomplishment is replaced by a question mark, all because of an outside reaction. Your internal battery, your self, just drained because you needed external approval to charge it. This constant search for approval can feel like a maze with no exit. Every turn asks, "Am I good enough for them?" But here's the thing. What if being good enough isn't something others decide? What if your worth is just there, a quiet truth inside you, like your steady heartbeat? Recognizing this need is the first step. It's about remembering your value isn't a prize to be won, but a gift you already possess. The worry about what they think. Have you ever felt a shiver of doubt just before you say something or do something, because you're wondering what other people will think? That's the feeling. It's like a quiet hum inside your head, a constant question. Am I good enough? Will they like this? What if they judge me? It's a powerful maze, one we often get lost in, where the walls are made of imagined opinions. This isn't a new feeling, you know. Even thousands of years ago, great thinkers in places like ancient Greece talked about reputation. They understood that how others saw you mattered a lot. It wasn't just about pride. It was about your place in the community. As humans, we are wired to connect, to belong. So, it makes sense that we care about what the group thinks. It's a very old, very human part of us. Here's an example. Maybe you have a drawing you're really proud of, or a unique idea for a school project. You want to share it, but then that little voice starts. What if they laugh? What if it's not as good as someone else's? So you hide the drawing or keep quiet about the idea. This worry can make us edit ourselves, change who we are, just to fit into what we think others expect. It's like trying to navigate a dark room, bumping into furniture you can't even see, because you're scared of tripping. But here's the thing. Everyone feels this, that worry about what they think. It's a shared secret. And when we understand that, we can start to see it not as a weakness, but as a path to something deeper. The real strength isn't getting rid of the worry entirely, but learning to act with courage despite it. It's about gently reminding yourself that your own quiet voice, your own truth, is the most important opinion of all. Getting tangled in gossip. Have you ever noticed how a whisper can travel faster than a shout? It starts small, a little secret, shared between two friends. But then, that secret gets a life of its own. It grows, it twists, and suddenly, it's not a secret anymore. It's gossip. And here's the thing, it often feels like a maze with no exit. Gossip isn't just harmless chatter. It's when we talk about someone not present, sharing things that might not be true, or aren't meant for others. Humans have been doing this for thousands of years. Early communities shared stories, yes, but also news about who was doing what. It helped groups bond, but also built walls. The ancient Greek philosopher Socrates had a 3 filters test for information. Is it true? Is it good? Is it useful? Most gossip fails this test. Imagine a single drop of dye in clear water. It spreads, slowly, then faster, coloring the whole glass. You can't easily take that dye back out. That's a bit like gossip. Once it's out, It spreads through our circles, changing how people see someone, even if the information is wrong. It colors perceptions, and the person talked about rarely gets to defend themselves. The problem is, once you're in that maze of rumors, it's hard to leave without hurting yourself or someone else. It pulls you into a tangled web of assumptions and feelings not truly yours. Perhaps it's better, sometimes, to just quietly step away, to choose silence, and let the whispers fade without adding your voice. Because the quiet path, though less exciting, often leaves fewer scars, and that's why it matters. Why do things feel unfair? Have you ever just watched something happen and felt a tight knot in your stomach because it just wasn't fair? Maybe you tried your absolute best at something, and someone else, who barely tried, got all the credit or the reward. It's a feeling that can sting, leaving you wondering why things shake out the way they do. And here's the thing, you are not alone in feeling this dot. For thousands of years, people have wrestled with this deep, sometimes painful feeling. Ancient thinkers and wise folks often wondered about justice and why life isn't always balanced. They saw that sometimes good things happen to people who don't deserve them, and hard-working people face unfair struggles. It's part of being human to notice these uneven parts of the world. Our brains are actually wired to look for patterns and expect things to be right. So when they aren't, it feels really off. Think about it like this. Imagine you've saved up your allowance for months to buy something you really want. You worked extra chores, you were patient, but then a friend gets the exact same thing as a gift, without having to do any work at all. Suddenly, that special purchase you made might not feel as exciting, and a wave of "that's not fair" washes over you. Your effort and patience, compared to their instant gratification, creates that sense of injustice. But here's what this feeling teaches us. It shows us that we care deeply about what is right. It reminds us that we value effort, kindness, and balance. That heavy feeling of unfairness, as uncomfortable as it is, can actually push us to seek out better ways, to speak up for others, or to understand that some things are simply beyond our control. It's okay to feel it, and in feeling it, we learn a little more about what truly matters to us. The replay of an embarrassing moment. Have you ever found yourself suddenly back there? Maybe it's late, and your mind is quiet. Then, zap, you're on the stage again, or you just said that silly thing in class. Your cheeks burn all over. It's like a tiny movie plays inside your head, a moment you wish you could delete, but it keeps coming back. This mental replay, especially if something awkward or embarrassing, is a maze with no clear exit. Our brains do this strange thing. They hold on to these specific memories, often the ones that made us feel foolish. It's not just a memory, it's a full-body experience, bringing back the exact same feelings. Long ago, ancient Greek thinkers talked about examining our thoughts. They knew minds could get stuck in loops about past mistakes. They believed in understanding what we could control. This mental maze isn't new. Humans have grappled with it for centuries. We replay these moments, maybe trying to figure out what we could have done differently, or perhaps punishing ourselves. Think about dropping your lunch tray in the crowded cafeteria. The noise, the splat, everyone looking. Days later, you might be trying to fall asleep, and suddenly, boom, you're reliving the sound, the stares, the embarrassment. It's a loop. In psychology, this is called rumination. Our brains try to process strong emotional events. They're trying to learn from it, so it doesn't happen again. But sometimes, they get stuck, playing it on repeat. It's a reminder that our past lives within us, not always as a smooth story. Sometimes it's sharp, repeated clips. Maybe these replays aren't meant to trap us, but to teach us something quiet about ourselves. They might show us our capacity for growth, or how much we care about what others think. It's a path to understanding our own reactions, a gentle nudge to accept that moments pass, even if their echoes linger. The urge to run away sometimes when things get really tough. Have you ever just wished you could press an escape button? It's that deep, quiet longing to be somewhere else, anywhere else, but here. This isn't about packing a bag and actually running away. It's more about trying to escape from your feelings, from the weight of a problem that feels too big, or a moment that feels too heavy to carry. It's your mind wanting a break, wanting to find peace when things get chaotic. This feeling isn't new to us. People have felt this pull for thousands of years. Even really old philosophers, back in ancient Greece, would talk about how humans try to avoid pain and seek comfort. They understood that our minds naturally want to protect us from distress. The urge to run away, in a way, is our brain's ancient alarm system. trying to keep us safe. Think about it like this. You're walking home, and a dog suddenly barks really loudly right next to you. What's your first instinct? Probably to jump, maybe even step back quickly. Your body just reacted to danger. It's a bit like that with our emotions. If you are really stressed about a big test, or if you've had a tough argument with someone you care about, your brain might trigger that same flight response. It's an internal whisper saying, hide from this, make it stop. It's a powerful feeling, a strong pull to get away from whatever is causing you discomfort. But here's the thing, this urge to run, it's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a signal, a quiet message from your inner self. It tells you something important is happening inside you. It shows you're feeling deeply, reacting honestly. Instead of just trying to outrun it or push it down, maybe we can just acknowledge it, gently. Just noticing that feeling, understanding why it's there, can be the first step to truly facing what's bothering us, rather than just wanting to escape. Stuck in a rut, have you ever stopped and really wondered, deep down, why we're here? Why does anything truly matter? It's a question humans have been asking themselves for thousands of years. This feeling, this quiet hunger about our place in the world, is the search for life's meaning. Think about it. Early people sat by fires, gazing at stars, wondering. Ancient Greek thinkers walked their gardens, pondering the same things. Even you, right now, might doodle in a notebook or stare out a window and ask it. Everyone, in some way, looks for answers. They wanted to know if there was a bigger plan, or if our lives were just random. Some believed meaning came from a higher power. Others thought it was something we create ourselves, day by day. But the search itself, that was the common thread. Here's the thing. It's like trying to understand why your favorite song moves you. Is it just the notes, the rhythm, or is it the memories tied to it, the mood it creates? You can study the music, look at sound waves, but the meaning of the song, how it touches you, that's deeper. It's personal. You can't just look it up in a book and get the full answer. So this search isn't about finding one perfect answer for everyone. It's more about the journey itself. It's about asking the questions, thinking about your experiences, and noticing what truly connects with you. The meaning might not be a huge, bright flash, but rather small, quiet understandings that grow over time. And that's perfectly okay. The beauty is in the looking. The maze of procrastination. Have you ever truly stopped, stepped outside, and looked up at the night sky? Not just a quick glance, but really let your eyes wander across the darkness, dotted with countless lights. It's a feeling that's hard to put into words. There's something ancient and powerful about it. You feel tiny, maybe, but also connected to something incredibly vast and old. For thousands of years, long before written history, people looked up at those same stars. They didn't have telescopes or fancy science equipment, but they saw the same patterns, the same steady glow. They used the stars to navigate across oceans, to know when to plant crops, and to tell stories about gods and heroes. The night sky was their first teacher, their first clock, their first map. It showed them that even though things on earth changed, some things above were constant. This was a truth, a teaching that existed before any religion, any government. It was just there, for everyone to see. Think about it like this. Imagine you're trying to solve a really tricky problem in school. Maybe a math equation that just won't click. You might feel stuck, frustrated. But then, maybe you take a break, step away for a bit. When you come back, suddenly, the answer seems clearer. Looking at the night sky can be like that. It helps you step back from your own daily troubles, your own small world. When you see how incredibly far away those stars are, how many there are, it puts things into perspective. Your worries might still be real, but they don't feel quite so overwhelming. The night sky reminds us of a simple, beautiful truth. There is so much more out there than we can ever fully grasp. And in that vastness, there's a quiet sense of peace, a feeling of belonging to something eternal. Thinking you're not good enough. Have you ever felt that quiet whisper inside, telling you you're just not quite good enough? Maybe for a test, a group, or a team. It's a feeling almost everyone knows. A silent doubt that can echo louder than any compliment. This feeling, this idea you don't measure up. It's like a mental maze. You walk through your own thoughts, trying to find an exit, a way to feel confident. But often, the walls of this maze are built from comparing yourself to others, or from expectations you think you should meet. It might surprise you, but people have felt this way for thousands of years. Ancient Greek thinkers, like the philosopher Socrates, questioned themselves deeply. He taught that real wisdom often comes from understanding what you don't know. This wasn't about being stupid. It was about seeing that there's always more to learn and grow from. That feeling of not knowing enough is just a part of being human, a humble understanding of our place. Think about trying to learn a new skill, like playing a musical instrument or mastering a video game. At first, you might struggle. You see others play so easily, and a tiny voice says, "You'll never be that good." But here's the thing, everyone starts somewhere. That struggle isn't proof you're not good enough. It's simply part of the learning process. It's like learning to ride a bike. The wobbly first tries are just as important as the smooth ride later. So, when that feeling visits, remember, it's a common human experience, not a personal flaw. It's a sign that you care, that you want to do well. Instead of getting lost in that maze, try to just acknowledge the feeling, like watching a cloud pass by. We can be kind to ourselves then, knowing our worth isn't about being perfect, but about our effort, our growth, and simply being who we are. The shadow of your own doubts. Have you ever felt that quiet whisper inside your head, telling you that you're not good enough, or that you can't really do something, even if you want to try? That's the shadow of your own doubts. It's not a monster hiding under your bed. Instead, it's a feeling growing right inside you, making you question your strengths. Here's the thing, it can feel heavy, like a cloud hanging over a sunny day. For thousands of years, people have felt this way. Even wise thinkers, long ago, talked about the battles we fight in our own minds. They knew our biggest challenges sometimes aren't external. They are actually part of our own thoughts. It's like our mind creates a puzzle, and the answer is believing in ourselves. Imagine you're at the diving board at a pool. You want to jump. You know how to swim. You've practiced, but a tiny voice starts up. What if you slip? What if you look silly? Those what ifs are your doubts. They can make the water seem colder, the dive seem higher, even when nothing has changed. And that's why it matters. These thoughts can stop you from even trying. But here's the cool part. Recognizing this shadow helps you step out of it. It's okay to have doubts. Everyone does. They are just thoughts, not facts. When we see our doubts for what they are, just shadows, we learn to walk past them. We discover that often, our own quiet fear was the only thing holding us back, and that makes all the difference. Why can't I just focus? Have you ever sat down to do something important, like homework, and your mind just drifts? 1 minute you're reading about history, and the next you're thinking about what to have for dinner, or that funny video you saw. It feels like your thoughts are tiny birds, all flying in different directions. You can't catch even one. It can be really frustrating, right? Like trying to hold on to water. This feeling, this struggle to hold on to a single thought, isn't new. People have wondered about it for thousands of years. Ancient philosophers, like the Stoics in Greece, believed our minds were always busy, like a buzzing marketplace. They said finding peace meant quieting that space, even for a moment. Buddhist monks, far away in the East, spent their lives trying to tame what they called the monkey mind, jumping from branch to branch. They knew how hard it was to keep attention on one thing. Imagine trying to listen to your favorite song, but someone keeps changing the radio station every few seconds. Or you're trying to build a Lego set, but every time you pick up a piece, a friend taps your shoulder to show you something else. Your brain often does something similar. It sees so many interesting things, hears so many sounds, feels so many feelings. It wants to explore everything at once. This constant pull, this endless stream of inputs, makes it hard to truly settle. But here's the thing, it's okay to feel this. It's not a sign you're failing. It just means you're human, living in a world full of noise and wonder. Our minds are vast, creative spaces, sometimes a little too wild. The goal isn't to stop thinking, but to find a small, quiet path through the forest of our thoughts, even if just for a short while. It's about noticing the drifting, and gently bringing yourself back, again and again. It's a quiet practice, a slow journey inward, to find those calm moments. The habit you can't break. Have you ever found yourself doing the same thing, over and over, almost like a ghost is guiding your hand? You know it's not helpful. Maybe it even makes you feel bad, but there it is again. It's like a path worn so deep in the forest of your mind, you just keep stumbling down it. That's a habit. Not just the good ones, like brushing your teeth, but the stubborn ones that feel like they own you. Like little chains we don't even see. Here's the thing. Our brains are amazing at making shortcuts. When you do something repeatedly, your brain builds a superhighway for that action. It stops being a conscious choice and becomes automatic, often before you even realize it. Think about when you first learned to ride a bike. It took all your focus. Now you just ride, without much thought. The same goes for how we think, too. Maybe it's always expecting the worst when a text comes in, or letting a small worry about school grow into something huge. These thought patterns are habits, deeply etched. Long ago, thinkers like Aristotle understood this. He talked about how repeating actions, good or bad, shapes who we become. We don't just have habits. In a real way, we are our habits, woven into the fabric of our being. Imagine a stream of water flowing over the same ground, year after year. It carves a deep, familiar channel. Changing that stream's path takes effort because the water naturally wants to follow the easiest route. Our mental streams are like that. If you always react to a challenge by feeling defeated, that becomes a deep, mental channel. It's like a no-exit maze because the path feels so natural, so inevitable, almost part of who you are. But recognizing these channels, these invisible forces that guide us, is where a different kind of quiet strength begins. It's not about instantly changing the river's course, but about seeing its flow, understanding why it moves that way, knowing that this maze has been built by repetition, rather than it always having been an unchangeable part of you. It's a soft truth. We are built by what we do and what we think, again and again, and understanding this can be the first, gentle whisper of possibility, even within the mazes we thought had no exit at all. The wish to be someone else. Do you ever look at someone else and wonder what it would be like to walk in their shoes, to live their life? It's a quiet thought many of us have, a secret wish whispered deep inside. Sometimes, we see someone who seems to have it all together. Maybe they're really good at sports, or super smart, or always know what to say. And for a moment, you just wish you could switch places. You wish you could escape your own worries, your own problems, and just be them instead. Here's the thing. This feeling isn't new. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient storytellers and thinkers often wrote about wanting to be different. It shows us that this deep longing, this idea of wanting someone else's story, is a very human experience. It's part of trying to understand where you fit. Think about it like this. Imagine you're watching a movie, and the main character seems so brave and confident. You might think, wow, I wish I could be that fearless. Or you see someone online with tons of friends and amazing experiences, and you might feel a pang of wanting that life. It's easy to focus on what seems good about someone else, to picture their life as perfectly smooth, but we only see a small part of their story, usually the highlights. We don't see their quiet struggles or the tough mazes they're trying to find their way through. So here's what I found. That wish to be someone else. It's often a wish to escape our own discomfort. It's not really about them. It's about the idea of relief we think their life would bring. But changing who you are isn't a real escape. It's a mental maze with no exit, because the true path forward is learning to walk your own. It's about understanding what you do have, and figuring out your own strengths, even when it feels hard. And that's a journey worth taking. Getting lost in distractions. Have you ever felt your thoughts just drift? Like you're trying to focus on one thing, but your mind keeps pulling you away. That drifting is distraction. It's when your attention, a powerful thing, gets pulled from what you mean to do or feel. It feels like a quiet theft, doesn't it? A small piece of your time, your intention, slipping away. Thinkers from long ago, like ancient Romans, worried about this. Seneca, for example, talked about losing precious time, not by bad actions, but by letting attention scatter. He knew if you don't steer your mind, the world will steer it for you. This isn't a new problem. It's a very old human struggle. Imagine sitting with homework, maybe a tough math problem. You look at the numbers, then suddenly, you're scrolling videos or checking social media. You didn't plan to, but the bright screen, the endless feed, it calls to you. It pulls your focus like a strong river current, far from where you wanted to be. Soon, an hour is gone. The math problem remains unsolved, leaving a quiet ache of regret. Here's the thing. Those small pulls, those tiny moments of wandering, they add up. They build a kind of mental maze, a winding path where we spend too much time searching for an exit we didn't realize we entered. The real challenge isn't just finding focus. It's about understanding the quiet sadness of not being truly present in your own life. It's about recognizing the whispers that try to lead us astray, and choosing the path you truly want to walk. The pressure to have it all figured out. Do you ever feel like everyone expects you to know everything already? Like you should have your whole future mapped out, even now? It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? This idea that we need to have it all figured out is a silent pressure that whispers. It makes us think there's one right path, and if we don't see it clearly, we're somehow failing. But here's the thing. Most adults are still figuring things out too. For a long time, people have wondered about their purpose. Ancient thinkers, like the Greek philosophers, spent lives asking big questions. They knew that understanding yourself and the world was a long journey, not a quick answer. They didn't have life's GPS. They explored. Our world often wants quick answers though. We see perfect lives on social media, or hear about successful people who seem to know their calling from birth. But that's rarely the whole story. Think about a scientist working in a lab. They don't start with all the answers. They have a question, maybe an idea, but they experiment. They try things, and often, things don't work out as planned. They learn from what fails. It's like a winding path through a forest. You might have an idea of where to go, but the path might branch, or you might find something amazing along an unplanned detour. Sometimes, the most beautiful discoveries come from not knowing where you're headed next, and that's okay. It's more than okay. It's how life works. The goal isn't to have every single step planned out perfectly. The goal is to keep walking, keep learning, and trust you'll find your way. Maybe the point isn't to find the exit to the maze, but to learn something new about yourself with every turn. Even if there's no clear way out right now, it means being brave enough to explore, even when the fog is thick. Your journey is yours to discover, one step at a time. The loop of self-criticism. Have you ever had a thought that just wouldn't leave? Like a song stuck in your head, but instead of music, it's your own voice telling you what you did wrong. That feeling, that endless replay, is the loop of self-criticism. Here's the thing. It can feel like a maze with no exit. You make a mistake, or think you do. Then, your mind plays it over and over. You judge yourself, replay the moment, and find all the reasons why it was bad. It's like being trapped in a spiral, always looking inward, always finding fault, making it harder to move on. Even old thinkers, hundreds of years ago, talked about this. Ancient Greek philosophers thought a lot about how we examine our own thoughts. They believed in knowing yourself deeply, but not in a way that just beat you up. They saw that endless worry or constantly picking apart flaws could stop you from living fully. They understood the mind could easily become its own prison if critical thoughts took over, preventing real growth. Think about when you mess up a simple math problem in class, or say something a little awkward to a friend. You might think about it all day, or even for days. Why did I say that? Everyone must think I'm so dumb now. And then that thought replays. It's like a broken record, skipping back to the same scratchy part. You understand the flaw, but you just keep looking at it, not moving past it, caught in that endless repeat. But here's what I found. This loop doesn't have to be forever. Understanding it is the first step. It's okay to reflect, to learn from mistakes, because that's how we grow. But when reflection turns into endless judgment, that's a trap, a mental maze with no visible exit. Maybe, instead of just replaying the mistake, we can gently acknowledge it, feel what we feel, and then slowly try to find the path that leads out. It's about being kind to that voice inside, even when it's trying to be hard on you. And remembering that everyone experiences this. You are not alone in this maze. Feeling invisible in a crowd. Have you ever stood in a busy hallway, or sat in a huge school assembly, and suddenly felt like you weren't really there? Like your voice, your thoughts, even your physical self, just kind of dissolved into the buzzing energy of everyone else. It's a strange and sometimes lonely feeling, isn't it? To be surrounded by so many people, hearing their laughter, their conversations, but feeling completely unseen, unheard. It's like you're moving behind an invisible shield. You're present, but somehow absent. This is what we call feeling invisible in a crowd. This isn't a new feeling. For thousands of years, people have grappled with it. Ancient Greek thinkers asked about the individual's place in a massive city. They wondered, what makes me, when I'm just one among countless others? It's a deep question about finding our importance in a world full of so many lives. Here's how it works. Think about a single star in the night sky. There are billions of stars. When you look at the whole Milky Way, it's stunning and massive. But sometimes, a single small star seems tiny, almost lost in the vastness. Yet, it still shines with its own unique light, adding to the beauty of the whole. even if it feels small on its own. And that's why it matters. That quiet longing to be seen, to be acknowledged, is a basic human need. When you feel invisible, it reminds us how much we want to connect, how much our existence matters. Here's the thing, even when the world feels too big, and you feel like just one face in a sea of many, your unique spark doesn't disappear. It's still there, inside you, shining. Your own thoughts, your quiet observations, they all have meaning. It's a gentle truth we carry, knowing our own light is always present. The burden of unasked advice. Have you ever held words inside you? Words you felt could really help someone, but you didn't say them. It's a strange weight, isn't it? This quiet struggle is what we call the burden of unasked advice. It's when you see a clear path for someone, or a mistake they're about to make, and your mind just wants to jump in and fix it. But here's the thing, they haven't asked. When we offer advice that isn't requested, it often doesn't land well. It can feel like judgment, or like we think we know better. Wise people have talked about this for centuries. The ancient philosopher, Seneca, for example, believed true wisdom meant knowing when to be silent and listening more than speaking. Advice forced upon someone rarely helps them grow. Think about it. If you keep giving directions to someone who just wants to explore, are you truly helping their journey? Imagine your friend is trying to solve a tough puzzle. Maybe it's a Rubik's Cube, or a tricky math problem for homework. You know the trick, you really want to tell them. You see their frustration, and want to make it easier. But they're deep in concentration, turning the cube, erasing their numbers. If you just blurt out the answer, what happens? They might feel robbed of their own discovery. That aha feeling of figuring it out themselves is stolen. The learning, the pride of overcoming a challenge, is taken away. Here's what I found. The burden isn't just about holding back words. It's also about realizing the greatest gift we can give someone is the space to find their own way, to let them walk their own maze, even if it has no exit that we can see. Our role can simply be to be present, ready to listen if they choose to speak. But we also respect their journey enough to let them navigate their own mental pathways. This kind of patience, this quiet respect, is a wisdom all its own. When no one seems to understand, have you ever tried to explain something really important to you, but the words just tangled up, or the person just didn't get it? Like you were speaking a different language, even when you were using all the same words. That feeling, when your mind is full of thoughts and feelings, like a complicated map, but everyone else seems to see a blank page. That's a kind of mental maze with no exit. It's when your inner world feels completely separate from everyone else's, leaving you feeling truly alone with your thoughts. People have felt this for a very long time. Think about people from history, like the ancient Greek thinkers. They spent their lives asking big questions and trying to figure out the world and themselves. And often, their ideas were so new or different that other people found them confusing, or even silly. It wasn't that these thinkers were wrong, but that their ideas needed time, or a different way of looking at things, for others to grasp. Their minds were exploring paths others hadn't yet seen. Here's the thing. Imagine you're trying to tell a friend how a certain song makes you feel. Not just happy, but that specific ache in your chest, or that rush of colors in your mind. You try to describe the beat, the lyrics, the memories it brings back, but they just nod, saying, "Yeah, it's a good song." It's like you're offering them a whole universe of feeling, and they can only see a single star. And that's why it matters. Your experience is real, even if it's hard to share, and that's okay. Sometimes, our deepest feelings and most complex thoughts are like secret gardens we tend to alone. They might not be fully understood by others, and that doesn't make them less true or less important. It means they're yours. This can help you sit with your own thoughts, to explore them, and maybe, just maybe, find comfort in the quiet strength of your own understanding. Sometimes, the exit to the maze isn't through someone else understanding you, but through you understanding yourself. The constant need to be right. Have you ever felt that strong pull inside you? The one that whispers, "You're right, don't back down." It's this deep, often hidden desire we all share, a constant need to be seen as correct. It's more than just wanting to win an argument. It's tied to who we think we are, to our sense of self. Feeling right can be like a shield for our thoughts. But here's the thing. Sometimes, that shield blocks new ideas, other perspectives. It stops us from seeing the full picture. Thinkers from long ago, like the Greek philosopher Socrates, questioned everything. He didn't tell people what was right. Instead, he made them think about why they believed things, He often showed them that what they thought was true might not be. He understood that being too fixed on being right could stop us from learning. This human puzzle has existed for thousands of years. We want to be certain. We want to feel smart. I imagine arguing with a friend about the best way to win a video game. You're totally sure your strategy is better. Even when they show a game tutorial proving their method is faster, a small part of you might still insist, no, my way feels right. That's the need to be right kicking in. Our brain sometimes tries to protect our ego. It makes us stick to our beliefs even when facts point elsewhere. It's not always stubbornness. It's a very human trait. Here's what I found. Maybe true strength isn't about always having the right answer. Maybe it's the quiet courage to say, I might be wrong. Or even better, help me understand. When we let go of that constant need, we open up to a much bigger world. We can learn, grow, and connect more genuinely. There's a peace in knowing that finding truth is more important than always being right. The weight of a promise. Have you ever made a promise and then felt it settle, heavy and real, in your mind? It's not a physical thing you can hold, like a backpack or a stone. Yet, it creates a sense of obligation, a tiny pull on your actions, guiding you. This unseen force, this expectation, is the weight of a promise. It's a quiet agreement, a silent contract we make, connecting what we say now to what we do later. For thousands of years, humans have understood this deep truth. Ancient societies, people who lived long before us, knew how important promises were. They weren't just words spoken into the air. They were fundamental building blocks. Promises were the glue that held families and entire communities together. A person's word was their honor, something precious, and breaking it could tear apart trust. Like snapping a strong rope. Think about it like this. Imagine you promise a friend you'll help them study for a big science test. That promise isn't just about showing up. It's about your friend trusting you completely. It's about them counting on you, maybe even building their own plans around your promise. So, if you don't show up, it's not just a missed study session. It's a small crack in the trust you to share. It's like the gravity of a planet, unseen, but it pulls everything towards it, influencing every move. And that's why keeping a promise feels good. Like you've lifted something heavy off your chest. You've met an expectation. You've honored a connection you made. But when a promise is broken, it leaves behind a quiet echo, a deep sense of loss or disappointment for everyone involved. Here's the thing. Every word we give, every commitment we make, has a ripple effect, spreading out further than we might imagine. So, let's choose our promises carefully, because they truly do carry a weight, a special kind of gravity in our lives, shaping our connections. Stuck between what's right and easy. Have you ever felt that heavy tug inside you, like two different paths are calling your name? One path looks smooth, clear, and simple. It promises comfort. The other, maybe a little rocky, feels more honest, more true. This is the heart of being stuck between what's right and what's easy. It's that moment when doing the good, honorable thing means facing a challenge, while taking the simple way out might not feel quite right, even if it saves you trouble. People have thought about this feeling for a very long time. Thousands of years ago, thinkers in ancient Greece talked about how true strength often comes from choosing the harder, better path. They knew it takes courage to pick what's right, especially when the easy choice is right there, tempting you. Here's the thing. The easy choice often gives you quick relief, but the right choice builds something strong inside you, something that lasts. Imagine you're online, and a classmate shares a rumor about another student. It's funny, and everyone is laughing. The easy thing to do is to share it too, or just laugh along. It takes no effort, and you fit in. But the right thing, that quiet voice inside you, knows it's not true, or it's just plain mean. So, the right choice is to say nothing, or maybe even gently point out it's not okay, even if it feels a little awkward, or you worry what others will think. That awkward moment, that's the price of doing what's right. Choosing what's right might not always bring immediate rewards, and sometimes it even brings discomfort. But thinking about these choices, really feeling the weight of them, helps us understand ourselves better. It shapes who we become, and that's why it matters. Every time you pick the harder, truer path, you're not just making a choice. You're building a stronger, more honest version of yourself, one small step at a time. The fear of being alone. Have you ever felt completely alone, even when you're in a crowded room? Or maybe your phone buzzes with messages, but none of them truly feel like they're for you. This is the fear of being alone. It's not just about having no one physically near you. It's a deeper feeling, a quiet worry that you might be truly disconnected by yourself in a way that matters. It's a silent ache for connection, for someone to understand your world. This isn't a new feeling. Think about humans a long, long time ago. Living alone was incredibly dangerous. Being part of a group meant safety, food, and survival itself. So, feeling separated, like an outcast from your tribe, was a huge threat. Ancient thinkers felt this too. They wondered if we are meant to be together, or if true understanding is always a journey we take alone. It's a big old question. Imagine being the new kid at school. Everyone else seems to know each other, laughing and talking in groups. You might be surrounded by people, but you feel like an island. You see them, but you don't feel seen. That empty feeling, that small knot in your stomach, is a glimpse of this fear. It's the deep wish to belong, not just to observe. This feeling, though heavy, reminds us how important connection is. It teaches us to reach out, to build bridges, even small ones. And sometimes, understanding this fear helps us find strength within ourselves. It reminds us that we carry our own world with us, our thoughts and feelings, even when others aren't right beside us. So, here's what I found. Realizing this helps us appreciate true connection, and reminds us that asking for it is brave. Why do I overthink everything? Have you ever just thought too much? Like your brain has a mind of its own, replaying moments, imagining worst-case scenarios, going over and over things until you're just tired. That feeling, that constant loop, that's often what we call overthinking. It's when our mind gets stuck in a maze of thoughts, pushing past simple reflection into endless worrying or analyzing. It can feel like being trapped, right? As if your mind is a hamster wheel, spinning faster and faster, but not really getting anywhere. And here's the thing. Humans have been wrestling with this for a very long time. Thousands of years ago, even ancient Greek thinkers talked about how our minds can sometimes become our own biggest challenge. They knew thinking helps solve problems, but too much thinking can create new ones. It's not a new struggle. It's part of being human, part of having this amazing complex brain. Think about a time you had to make a small decision, like what to wear. Instead of just picking, your mind might have gone on a journey. What if this is too much? What if it's not enough? What will they think? Will I regret it? It's like a tiny problem becomes a huge, impossible puzzle with 100 paths and no clear way out. But here's what I found. Sometimes, our brains are just trying to protect us. They want to figure out all the angles to keep us safe. The trick is to learn when that protection becomes a cage. And here's the thing. It's okay to feel this way. It reminds us how deeply we care, how much we want to get things right. Maybe understanding isn't about stopping thoughts completely, but about learning to gently guide them, to find peace, to remember that sometimes just being is enough. The battle against boredom. Have you ever felt truly, deeply bored, like staring at the ceiling board, or waiting for a bus that seems to be stuck in another dimension? That heavy, empty feeling when there's nothing exciting happening, and your mind just feels restless. It's more than just not having anything to do. It's a quiet kind of struggle inside your head. Your brain wants to be busy, to solve something, to feel interested, but it can't find an anchor. It's like a tiny internal battle. Long ago, thinkers saw this feeling not just as a small annoyance. They thought boredom could be a kind of signal. Some old philosophers even believed it was a call to look inside yourself, to find what truly matters when the world gets quiet. They wondered if boredom was actually a path to understanding who you are. Here's the thing. It often pushes us to invent, to dream. Think about being stuck at home on a rainy Saturday, and your internet goes out. All your usual distractions disappear. Suddenly, you might pick up an old book, or start drawing something, or even just watch the raindrops slide down the window, really seeing them for the first time. That uncomfortable quiet nudges your brain to create its own entertainment, or to simply observe. It's your mind trying to escape the maze of nothingness by building a new path. So maybe boredom isn't just something to fight or run from. Maybe it's a quiet space where new ideas can grow. It's a reminder that our minds are powerful, always seeking meaning, always trying to solve the puzzle of existence, even when it feels like there's no clear exit. Sometimes, the quietest moments hold the most potential for discovering something new about ourselves and the world. The maze of excuses. Have you ever had something important to do, something you knew you should do, but a strange feeling kept you from starting? Maybe it was a big project, a difficult conversation, or even just cleaning your room. Instead of doing it, you found yourself saying things like, "I'm too tired," or "I don't have enough time," or "It's not that important right now." Here's the thing, those statements, those little reasons we tell ourselves, are often excuses. They're like invisible walls we build around ourselves to avoid discomfort or effort. We want to feel safe, to avoid failing, or just to stay where it's easy. It's a human thing, really. Even thinkers from a long time ago, like the ancient Greek philosophers, knew this. They talked about how easy it is to blame outside things or other people when the real challenge is within us. They suggested we look at what we can control, and often, our excuses are just us trying to avoid that control. Think about a time you had to study for a test. You tell yourself, "My friends are going out, I'll study later," or "This subject is too boring, I can't focus." It's like your mind is a sneaky architect, building a whole maze of reasons not to enter the study zone. Every excuse is a twist, a turn, leading you further away from the task. Your brain is trying to protect you from the hard work, from the uncertainty of whether you'll do well. It's easier to stay in the maze than to face the open, sometimes challenging, path outside it. But here's what happens. While those excuses give us a moment of peace, they also keep us stuck. They don't make the task disappear. They just make it harder to face later. And that's why it matters. Noticing when we build these walls, understanding why we build them, is the first step out of the maze. It takes courage to admit, maybe I do have time, I'm just scared. It's a quiet strength, a gentle push toward freedom. Wishing you could change the past. Have you ever wished you could just hit rewind? Go back and change something that already happened. Maybe a quick moment, or something that felt like a huge mistake. Here's the thing about the past. It's done. It's like a story that's already been written. You can read it, remember it, but you can't erase a single word. That feeling of wanting to fix what's behind us, that's a mental maze. We wander through if-onlys and what-ifs, looking for an exit that isn't there. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers, and even just regular folks, always knew that time only moves in one direction. It's like a river, always flowing downstream. You can't step into the same river twice, they'd say. The moment is gone. We remember, we learn, but we can't physically alter what has already taken place. Think about dropping your phone and cracking the screen. You might stare at it, wishing you hadn't fumbled it. You might replay that moment in your head, thinking, if only I'd held it tighter, but the screen is still cracked. Your mind wants to undo it, but the world doesn't work that way. It's the same with words we've said, or choices we've made. That moment is now part of the past. So, while we can't change the past, here's what we can do. We can change how we see it. We can accept that certain things are simply part of our story now, and that's why it matters. What happened can teach us. It can help us make different choices today, right now, in this moment that is still ours to shape. It's about letting go of the maze of what-ifs and stepping into the path of what's next. The worry about the future. Have you ever felt that quiet hum of unease inside you? A little knot forming when you think about tomorrow, or next month, or even next year. That's the worry about the future. It's like our minds try to draw a map of what's to come, but the path is often foggy, and we imagine all kinds of shadows dancing along it. We picture big tests, new schools, changes with friends, or simply the unknown. It's a very human feeling, a deep-seated part of us. For thousands of years, people have grappled with this. Ancient thinkers, like those we call philosophers, understood this feeling well. They often talked about how much energy we spend on things we can't control. A Greek philosopher named Epictetus once suggested that we should focus our thoughts on what is within our power right now, not on things that haven't happened or things others might do. He knew that much of our suffering comes from imagining future problems that might never arrive, or arrive very differently. Think of your brain like a sensitive weather station. It sees a tiny cloud way out on the horizon, barely visible, and immediately starts predicting a massive storm. This weather station is trying to protect you, to give you a heads up, but sometimes it just creates a lot of noise about what could be, instead of what is. It's a warning system, always on, even when there's no immediate danger. So when those what-ifs start swirling, it's okay to notice them. It's okay to feel that little hum, but then, gently remind yourself to come back to this very moment. Take a quiet breath, because here's the thing. Today is the only place we truly live. The future is a winding road, and often, the storms we feared never arrive, or they bring their own surprising calm. We build our future not by worrying about it, but by living each present day with gentle awareness. Trying to fix things you can't. Have you ever felt that hollow ache? The one that whispers, "If only I could go back." We all carry moments we wish we could rewind, words we wish we could unsay, or chances we wish we'd taken. It's a very human feeling, this deep pull to fix what seems broken in our past, or to control futures that feel uncertain. But here's the thing about life, and about some of our mental mazes: some doors are already closed, some roads are already traveled. Trying to change them is like pushing against a wall that simply won't move. You just exhaust yourself. Long ago, smart people, like the old Greek thinkers, talked about this. They realized that a lot of our sadness comes from trying to control things that are just not in our control. They understood that true wisdom often means knowing the difference between what we can impact and what we cannot. Think about it like this: if you spill a glass of water, you can clean it up, but you can't make the water jump back into the glass exactly as it was before. The moment it spilled, that event was fixed. Or imagine a dark, stormy sky. You can wish with all your heart for sunshine. You can feel deeply upset about the rain, but you can't make the clouds disappear. The rain will fall, regardless of your feelings. It's the same with many things that have already happened, or forces larger than us. It's not about giving up, but about a different kind of strength. It's the quiet power of acceptance. It's realizing that some wounds heal better when you stop picking at them, when you allow time to do its work. It's learning to breathe, to let go of the impossible struggle, and to find a gentle peace in what is. This freedom, this deep understanding, can be a quiet guide through the mazes that truly have no exit. The thought, what's the point? Have you ever been in the middle of something, maybe a huge homework assignment, or a long practice for a sport, and suddenly your mind just stops? It's like a quiet voice inside you asks, what's the point of all this? That feeling, that heavy question, can make us feel stuck. Here's the thing about what's the point. It's not always about giving up. Often, it's our brain trying to make sense of effort when the reward seems far away, or the path ahead feels endless. It's a very human question, one that people have pondered for thousands of years. Even ancient philosophers, thinking deeply about the world, must have wondered if their thoughts truly mattered. It's part of our human journey to understand our place. Think about trying to learn a new skill, like playing guitar. You pick it up, excited. Your fingers hurt, the chords buzz, and you sound terrible. You practice for days, even weeks, but it still feels clumsy. You watch others play so easily, and you think, I'm putting in all this time and effort, and I don't get better. What's the point of practicing if I don't get better? This isn't just about guitar. It's about any challenge where the results don't match the huge amount of work. It's when the goal seems impossible, and your energy starts to drain. But here's what I found. Asking what's the point can be a moment of deep honesty. It means you're paying attention. It's an invitation to pause, breathe, and remember why you started. Sometimes, the point isn't just about finishing or winning. It can be the strength you gain, the patience you learn, or the simple act of trying. It's about how we choose to move through those thoughts. This question doesn't have to be an exit. It can be a moment of quiet reflection. It helps us see the path, or even ourselves, a little more clearly. It's okay to feel that doubt. It's part of being human, and it shows you're truly thinking. The trap of always wanting more. Have you ever truly wanted something? Like, really, truly wanted it? Maybe it was a new game, or cool shoes, or just to finish a tough school project, and then, you finally got it. That first rush of excitement, that happy feeling. But here's the thing. How long did that feeling last? A day? A week? For most of us, pretty soon, that new thing doesn't feel so new, and our minds start looking for the next thing to want. This constant chasing, this endless search for the next best thing, is what some call the trap of always wanting more. Our brains seem wired to always move forward, to seek new rewards. For thousands of years, wise people noticed this. Ancient thinkers, even spiritual guides, saw how focusing only on getting more things or achievements could leave us feeling empty inside. They taught that real peace isn't about owning everything, but about understanding ourselves and being okay with what we have. Think about playing your favorite online game. You spend hours getting to the next level, or earning that rare item. When you get it, there's a burst of joy. But then what? The game designer's already put in another, harder level, or an even rarer item. So, You're back to the grind, feeling that pull for the next thing. Our real lives can feel a lot like that game. We hit one goal, then instantly look for another, often forgetting to really enjoy what we just gained. It's not wrong to have goals, not at all. But when our happiness depends only on getting more, we set ourselves up for a feeling that never quite settles. The real puzzle isn't about getting everything. It's about finding a way to feel content, to find peace in the moment before the next want takes hold. It's about noticing the quiet joy in what already is, instead of always chasing what isn't yet, feeling overwhelmed by it all. Have you ever had a day where it feels like everything is just too much, like your thoughts are racing, your to-do list is endless, and every new thing just adds to a giant pile in your head? That heavy, crowded sensation, that's what we call feeling overwhelmed. It's like your mind is a room, but suddenly there are too many doors, too many voices. You can't quite hear or see anything clearly. You're trying to choose a path, but all the paths are blurry, twisting like a maze where every turn looks the same. And here's the thing, this isn't a new feeling. Thinkers in ancient times, like philosophers in Greece, wrote about the challenges of the mind. They explored how our souls grapple with too many ideas or too much information. They knew that, sometimes, the mind itself can feel like a tangled knot, making it hard to find peace or a clear way forward. Imagine you're studying for 3 big tests next week: English, science, and math. You open your books, and suddenly all the facts, formulas, and story plots are swirling. You try to focus on one, but your brain keeps pulling you to another. It's like your internet browser has 30 tabs open at once, all trying to load. Everything slows down, nothing quite works, and you just want to shut it all down. That's a perfect picture of mental overwhelm. This feeling isn't a flaw, it's a sign your powerful brain is trying its best to make sense of a lot. Sometimes, the goal isn't to force an exit from the mental maze, but to acknowledge you're in it. Give your mind a moment. Let a breath calm the storm inside. Understanding this feeling is the first step toward finding a quiet corner, even when the maze feels endless. The pressure to pick a side. Have you ever felt that tight knot in your stomach, when 2 friends are arguing, and suddenly, all eyes turn to you? They want you to agree with one of them, to say who's right and who's wrong. This quiet tug-of-war in your mind, this is the pressure to pick a side. It's not just about what you truly believe, but about the unspoken rule that you must belong, that you can't just stand in the middle. People have faced this for a long time. Even in ancient times, thinkers like the Greeks explored loyalty and what it meant to belong. They saw how communities formed around shared ideas. To be part of a group, loyalty was often expected. But here's the thing, sometimes both sides hold parts of the truth, or maybe neither side feels completely right to you. Deep down, don't think about it this way. Maybe your 2 favorite bands are playing, and your friends are debating which one is better. You might love both equally, but suddenly, you feel an expectation to declare a winner. It's like a quiet whisper telling you, you can't like both. You have to choose. This isn't really about the music, it's about fitting in, about not being seen as uncommitted. The world often feels built on sharp edges, pushing us to pick. But what if there's strength in not choosing? What if the real power lies in listening to your own heart, in understanding all paths without walking just one? It's a lonely spot sometimes, standing in that quiet middle ground. But it's also where true understanding can grow. It's where you find your own voice, not just an echo of someone else's. And that's why it matters to sometimes resist that urge to just pick a side, and instead, just be. The cycle of revenge. Have you ever felt so wronged by someone that all you could think about was getting them back? It's a powerful feeling, this urge to make things even. But often, it pulls us into something we call the cycle of revenge. It's like a never-ending loop, where one hurtful action leads to another, and then another. It feels like justice, but it's really just pain bouncing back and forth. For thousands of years, people have seen this pattern. Ancient stories, even history books, are filled with examples. The old saying, an eye for an eye, sounds fair, right? But here's the problem. It usually leaves everyone blind. Think about it. If someone hurts you, and you hurt them back, then they might feel hurt by your actions and want to hurt you again. It never truly settles things. Philosophers have wondered for a long time if true peace can ever come from just hurting others back. Imagine, you're walking in the hallway and someone bumps your shoulder really hard, and they don't even say sorry. You're annoyed, maybe even a little mad. So, The next day, you accidentally trip them. Now they're hurt and angry, and they tell their friends. Their friends decide to ignore you, making you feel bad. It just keeps going, getting bigger and nastier, and soon no one remembers how it started. It's like picking at a scab. It feels like you're doing something, but all you're really doing is making the wound worse, making it take longer to heal. So, this cycle traps us. It doesn't actually fix anything that was broken. Instead of finding peace or feeling truly better, we often just carry more pain, more anger. It's a mental maze with no easy exit, because the way out isn't about hurting back. It's about finding a different path, one that lets real healing begin, even when your feelings scream for something else. It means choosing to break that chain, and that can be one of the hardest, most courageous choices we ever make. Why do bad things happen? Have you ever stopped and just wondered why bad things happen? It's a question that crosses everyone's mind. Maybe when something sad happens to someone you know, or even when you have a rough day, it feels unfair, doesn't it? Like there's no reason, no sense to it all. For a long time, people have tried to figure this out. Ancient thinkers and wise people in every culture looked at pain and suffering, asking if it's a test, a punishment, or just random. Some believed in fate, that everything was decided. Others thought our choices brought good or bad. But here's the thing. Often, it's not so simple. Think about a busy street. Imagine a small pebble rolls off a truck. It bounces, and a tire swerves slightly to avoid it. That slight swerve makes another car brake suddenly, and a chain reaction begins. No one wanted a traffic jam. No one meant for it to happen. It was just a tiny, unexpected event leading to a big mess. Life can be like that pebble in the street. Sometimes, things go wrong because of a tiny mistake, a random event, or a string of actions not meant to cause harm. It's not always about deserving good or bad. It's more about how interconnected everything is, and how unpredictable things can be. And that's okay to acknowledge. We don't always get a clear why. Sometimes, the answer isn't simple, but recognizing that not every bad event has a clear personal reason can bring a little peace. It helps us focus on what we can do, how we respond, how we support each other, and how we find strength even when the world feels messy and unfair. The fear of being forgotten. Do you ever think about what happens after you're gone? Not just you, but the things you cared about. This quiet worry that everything you are, everything you do, might someday just vanish from memory. That's the fear of being forgotten. It's a deep human maze, like one with no exit. Here's the thing. People have felt this worry for a very long time. Thousands of years ago, ancient kings built massive pyramids. Why? They wanted to make sure their names, their reigns, would never be forgotten. They aimed to leave a mark so big that time itself couldn't erase it. It's about wanting your existence to mean something, to echo in the world long after you've moved on. Think about it like this. You post a really cool drawing online. For a while, people see it, comment, it feels good. But then newer posts come up, and yours slowly gets buried. Fewer and fewer people remember it. The drawing is still there, yes, but its moment has faded. That small feeling of your creation being overlooked, it's a tiny echo of this bigger fear. It's the worry that your effort, your creativity, might not stick around in the minds of others. This fear isn't just about ego or wanting to be famous. It's about connection. It reminds us that our stories, our kindness, our contributions, even small ones, matter to the people around us. When we care about being remembered, we're really caring about the impact we have on others. And maybe, just maybe, being truly remembered isn't about grand monuments, but about the small, true ways we touched lives. That's a kind of memory that doesn't fade so easily. The burden of other people's problems. Have you ever felt a heavy knot in your stomach? Not because of something you did, but because a friend was hurting. It's a strange feeling, like carrying a backpack filled with someone else's rocks. Their worries become your worries. Their sadness seeps into your day. This is the burden of other people's problems. Here's the thing. We are wired to connect. We feel what others feel. Long ago, thinkers in ancient Greece and Rome talked about human connection, and how our lives are woven together. They understood that when a person in our community struggles, it affects everyone around them. It's not a new idea. It's a deep part of being human. This capacity for empathy. It means we can understand and even share the feelings of another. Think about two tuning forks. If you strike one, the air vibrates, and if another, identical tuning fork is placed nearby, it starts to hum too. picking up the vibration without being touched. That's a bit like us. When someone we care about is going through a rough time, their emotional vibration can make our own inner self hum with their pain. It's not just a thought. It's a feeling that can make us tired, anxious, or sad, even if nothing bad happened to us. It's beautiful to care so deeply. It shows our human capacity for compassion. But here's the challenge. How do we feel that connection, offer our support, and still protect our own peace? It's like standing in a gentle rain. You can feel every drop, but you don't have to let the storm wash you away. We learn to feel without letting the weight crush us. This might help you understand that it's okay to feel deeply, and it's also okay to know where your feelings end and someone else's begin. Stuck in your own head ever? Feel like your mind is a tangled path, and you're walking in circles, unable to find an exit? That feeling of being truly stuck inside your own thoughts is what we call stuck in your own head. It's more than just thinking hard. It's when your inner world takes over and the outside world fades. You might replay a past conversation, worry about something far off, or feel lost in a fog of feelings. It's like being a passenger in your own mind, unable to direct the journey. This idea of an active inner world isn't new. For thousands of years, thinkers wondered about this secret space inside us. Ancient philosophers, centuries ago, asked big questions about what makes us human. They were fascinated by how our thoughts and feelings could feel like a separate realm. They knew our greatest challenges and deepest comforts often came from within. Understanding yourself meant navigating this mental space. It's an old question. How do we truly guide our own minds? Think about it like this. You might be in class, but your brain is busy editing the perfect comeback you wish you'd said to a friend at lunch. Or perhaps you're trying to study, but your thoughts are stuck on a song, playing it over and over, refusing to let go. It's that moment when your brain becomes a room you can't leave. Your own mind becomes a maze, and every turn leads you back to the same spot, even when you wish for a different path. Here's the thing. This isn't always a bad place. Sometimes it's where we dream, solve problems, or understand things better. But when it feels like a trap, when the walls of your thoughts close in, it can feel heavy. It's a quiet, personal struggle many people share. Knowing this feeling is real and shared across time can bring comfort. It reminds us that our inner mazes, even those with no exit, are part of being human, and perhaps understanding these walls helps us find a new perspective. The loop of should-haves. Have you ever found yourself stuck, playing a moment from the past over and over in your head? It's like a song on repeat, but instead of music, it's thoughts of what you should have said, or what you should have done differently. This is the loop of should-haves, a mental maze where there seems to be no exit. Here's the thing, we all experience it. It's when a decision, big or small, sits with you, nagging at the edges of your mind. Maybe you wish you hadn't sent that text, or that you had studied harder for a test. You picture the different outcome, the happier ending, and suddenly, you're trapped looking backward. For centuries, thinkers have talked about this feeling. Ancient philosophers, and even writers in old books, knew how much people could struggle with regret. They understood that humans often get caught wondering about different paths not taken, wishing they could go back and change things. This isn't a new struggle. It's deeply human. Think of it like this. Imagine you're watching a video of a soccer game, where your team missed a goal in the last second. You rewind it, play it again, rewind it again. You see how the player should have kicked it, how they should have passed. But no matter how many times you watch, the ball still doesn't go in. The game is over. That video loop is much like the mental loop of should-haves. Your mind keeps replaying the scene, trying to find a different ending. But the past is already set, and that's why it matters. This loop can be a heavy weight, keeping us from seeing what's right in front of us, or what's coming next. It can make you feel stuck, lost in what if. But here's what I found. The past is a story that has already been written. We can't edit it, no matter how hard we try. What we can do, though, is learn from it. We can choose to step out of that looping video, acknowledge the feeling, and then gently turn our attention to the present. The power isn't in changing the past, but in how we decide to live right now, after understanding what happened. Why do I care so much? Have you ever wondered why some things just grab you? Why you can't stop thinking about something, or someone, even when it makes your stomach churn a little? It's like a soft knot in your chest that pulls at you. This feeling, this deep caring, can feel like a maze, sometimes hard to navigate, no obvious exit. But here's the thing, it's also one of the most human parts of us. We care because we are connected. It's a basic part of how we're built. Thinkers from long ago, like the ancient Greek philosophers, knew this. They talked about empathy, about how feeling what another person feels connects us deeply. It wasn't just a fancy idea. It was how they understood being part of a community. They saw that our feelings for others are not weaknesses, but powerful threads that weave us into something bigger. Imagine you've been working on a group project for school for weeks. You've put in extra hours, helped your friends, and really tried to make it good. So when the presentation day comes, you care a lot about how it goes. You care if your group gets a good grade. You care if your friends feel proud. You might even feel a little sick with worry. Why? Because you invested yourself. Your effort, your time, your feelings are all wrapped up in that project and in the people you worked with. It's not just about the grade. It's about the connection, the shared journey. And that's why it matters. This deep sense of caring, even when it hurts or feels like a tangle, shows us what we value. It's a mirror reflecting our own heart. It might sometimes feel like a maze with no easy way out, a path of emotions that winds and twists. But the caring itself isn't the problem. It's a quiet strength, a reminder that we are alive and we are not alone. It's what makes our experiences rich, even the challenging ones. The sting of being excluded. Have you ever stood on the edge of a laughing group, watching faces light up, and felt a quiet ache? It's like everyone else is inside a warm, bright room, and you're outside, peering through a frosty window. That feeling, that heavy sensation, is the sting of being excluded. It's when you're not picked, not invited, or just forgotten. Here's the thing. It can hurt more than any bump or bruise. For a long, long time, belonging meant everything to us humans. Think back to our ancestors. If you were part of the group, you had shelter, food, and safety. If you were kicked out, you were alone. That old wiring is still deep inside our brains. Our minds still see being left out as a real threat, almost like danger. So, when someone leaves us out, our brains react with a deep emotional ache. Picture this. You're walking through the hall, and you see your friends making plans, huddled close, laughing. They don't even look up. Or maybe a group project forms, and everyone partners up, but you're just left standing. That knot in your stomach, that flush in your face, those are not just feelings. Psychologists say our brains process this social rejection in some of the same areas that handle physical pain. It's a raw wound, not just in your mind, but almost in your body. It tells you how much connection matters. So, when we feel that sting, it's a powerful reminder. It tells us how deeply we crave to be seen, understood, and part of something bigger. It reminds us that being human means needing each other. And maybe, just maybe, understanding this deep feeling can help us be more thoughtful. It can make us pause, look around, and think about who might be standing at the edge, hoping someone will open the door and invite them in. It's a lesson in empathy. Always chasing happiness. Have you ever felt like you're always searching for something just out of reach? Maybe you think, if I just get that new phone, or that perfect grade, or get invited to that party, then I'll be truly happy. But here's the thing. Often, once we get what we wanted, that bright feeling only lasts for a little while. Then, we start looking for the next thing. It's like we're always chasing a feeling that keeps moving, a horizon we never quite reach. This isn't a new idea. Long ago, thinkers wondered about this endless chase. Ancient Greek philosophers, people who just loved to think deeply about life, looked at happiness not as a quick burst of joy, but as a deeper sense of living well. They thought it was about finding meaning and doing good things, not just getting what you want in the moment. But even then, they noticed how hard it was for people to stay content. We are always looking for more, wanting the next good thing. Think about eating your absolute favorite snack, like a really good piece of chocolate or your best cookie. The first bite is amazing, the second is still great, but by the fifth or sixth piece, the thrill starts to fade, right? Your brain, always seeking novelty, starts to get used to it. That amazing feeling lessens, and soon, you might be thinking about what other snack you want next, or maybe just feeling full. This isn't a problem with the snack, it's how our minds work. We get a little burst of happy chemicals, and then our brains adjust, ready for the next reward. So, if happiness is always just a little further down the road, maybe the trick isn't to run faster. Maybe it's about slowing down. It could be about noticing the small, quiet moments right now, the ones that don't shout for attention. Maybe true contentment isn't a prize you grab, but but a gentle breeze you feel if you stand still for a bit. The maze of unspoken rules. Sometimes the hardest mazes aren't made of walls you can see, but of silence. Have you ever felt that quiet confusion in a new place? Like everyone else knows something you don't, but no one ever explained it. Here's the thing about our world. It's full of unspoken rules. These are the quiet understandings, the ways we're expected to act, to speak, to just be. Even though no one ever wrote them down, they are like invisible threads that connect us, guiding our steps without a single word. Think about people who lived a very long time ago. They didn't have long lists of laws for everything, but they knew, deep down, how to behave. They knew not to take someone's harvest without asking. They knew how to greet an elder. These weren't taught in schools. They were learned by watching, by living, by just knowing what made their world work smoothly. They felt these rules. It's like when you walk into a library. No one stands at the door telling you to whisper or turn your phone to silent, but you just know, right? You feel that quiet expectation in the air. Or in a classroom, you likely know not to interrupt someone talking, even if the teacher hasn't said it today. These are the gentle fences around our everyday actions. They shape how we get along. This can help us understand so much. It's a strange kind of knowledge, isn't it? A whisper, a feeling, a subtle guide. We pick them up by watching others, by sensing the mood, sometimes by making a small mistake and feeling that soft blush of embarrassment. These invisible lines truly shape our world. They help us fit in, making us feel like we belong to something bigger. But sometimes, they can feel like a secret code, leaving us a little lost. They remind us that even in silence, there's a powerful language we all speak, binding us together, or sometimes keeping us gently apart. It makes you wonder, who truly decided these rules, and why do they hold so much quiet power over our hearts? Feeling like an outsider. Have you ever stood in a crowded room, maybe at school or a party, and felt completely alone, like everyone else was part of a secret club, laughing at jokes you didn't get, sharing stories you weren't in? This feeling, this quiet ache of not belonging, is what we call feeling like an outsider. It's when you feel disconnected, like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit the picture, no matter how hard you try to push it into place. Here's the thing, humans are built for connection. Way back, in ancient times, belonging to a tribe or a group meant safety and survival. Being left out could be dangerous. So, this feeling of being an outsider, even now, can feel really deep and unsettling, because it goes against something fundamental in us. But here's another thing. Some of the most profound thinkers throughout history, like philosophers who questioned everything, often felt like outsiders. Their unique perspectives came from not always fitting in, from seeing the world differently. Think about a time you tried to join a conversation online, maybe in a chat group, and your message just seemed to disappear, unnoticed, while everyone else kept talking like you weren't even there. Or maybe it's like watching your favorite sports team play, but you're on the bench, not part of the action, just watching it all happen. It's a silent kind of pain, a mental maze where you wander but can't find the way in. But here's what I found. Sometimes being on the outside gives you a different kind of strength. It lets you observe. It lets you think for yourself, away from what everyone else is doing or saying. It can be a hard path, full of confusing emotions, and that's why it matters. This feeling can lead you to discover who you truly are, separate from the group. It might feel like a maze with no exit, a confusing, winding path where you search for a way in. But sometimes, the real exit is simply finding your own unique path. It's okay to be the only one seeing something a certain way. In fact, it often means you're seeing it authentically, truly yourself. The struggle to forgive. Have you ever carried a heavy feeling inside you, a hurt that just won't seem to fade? Maybe someone let you down, or said something unkind, and that anger has stayed with you, a quiet hum beneath everything else. It's a common maze many of us get stuck in, the struggle to forgive. Here's the thing. Forgiveness isn't about pretending something bad never happened. It's not about excusing the person who hurt you. Instead, it's a choice you make, deep inside, to let go of the anger and the pain you're carrying. It's about deciding that you no longer want to be weighed down by what someone else did. This idea is as old as time. Many wise people, from ancient philosophers to leaders today, have pointed out how holding on to anger can hurt us more than it hurts the person we're angry at. They saw forgiveness as a powerful act, a way to find peace for yourself. Think of it like this. Imagine you're holding a really heavy rock. Someone gave it to you, or maybe you picked it up when you got upset. You carry it everywhere. It makes your arm tired, and it slows you down. That rock represents your anger, your resentment. Forgiveness is simply deciding to put that rock down. You don't forget you picked it up, and you don't forget why, but you choose not to carry it anymore. You choose to free your hands and your heart for something else. So here's what happens. When you choose to forgive, you're not just being kind to someone else, you are being kind to yourself. It's a quiet, brave step you take to untangle yourself from the past hurt. It allows you to breathe a little easier, to feel a little lighter, and to find your own path out of that emotional maze. It truly is a profound gift you give yourself. The pressure of social media. Have you ever scrolled through your feed, seeing all the perfect pictures, exciting trips, the endless smiles? Does it make you feel a little small, like everyone else has it figured out while you're just trying to keep up? Here's the thing. That feeling is the pressure of social media. It's like a quiet whisper telling you to be more, do more, show more, to be accepted. This expectation to look happy and popular can really weigh on you. For thousands of years, humans cared about what others thought. Our ancestors lived in tribes, where fitting in meant survival. So, our brains are wired to seek approval. But today, our tribe isn't just a few dozen people, It's thousands, sometimes millions, on a screen. Every post, like or comment can feel like a vote on your worth, reminding you you're watched by an unseen audience. Don't think about a movie trailer. It shows only the most exciting parts, the funniest lines, the dramatic scenes. It never shows the boring parts or mistakes. Social media is often like that movie trailer for people's lives. It's the highlight reel. You're seeing their very best moments, carefully chosen and filtered, not their everyday struggles or normal, quiet moments. Everyone has those quiet moments, but they rarely get posted. And that's why it matters. When you compare your full, real life to someone else's perfect highlight reel, it's easy to feel like you're not enough. It can make you question your own value, pulling you into a mental maze where the only way out seems to be to try harder, be more. But your worth isn't a number of followers or likes. Your inner world, unique thoughts, quiet strengths, these make you. They don't need an audience to be important. Your worth is already inside you, just as you are, without needing to prove it. This can help you find calm amidst the noise. Why can't I just be happy? Have you ever just sat there and wished you could feel truly, deeply happy, all the time? It's a question many of us ask, especially when things feel tough or confusing. Here's the thing. Happiness isn't like an on switch you can just flip. It's more like the weather. It changes. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's stormy, and sometimes it's just a little cloudy. That's perfectly normal. Long ago, even ancient thinkers wondered about this. People like the old Greek philosophers didn't think happiness was about always feeling good or having everything you wanted. Instead, they thought it had more to do with living a balanced life, understanding yourself, and facing challenges with a steady heart. They knew life had ups and downs, and that was just part of being human. But here's the problem. Our brains are also wired in a funny way. Think about your favorite video game. When you first start playing, every win feels amazing. You level up, get new gear, and it's super exciting. But after playing it for hours, maybe even beating it, that same excitement can start to fade a little, right? You get used to it. Our brains do something similar with good feelings. We adapt. We look for the next thing to make us feel good, even when we have a lot to be thankful for already. It's like our emotional speedometer keeps resetting. So maybe chasing constant happiness isn't the goal. Perhaps it's about accepting all our feelings, the good, the bad, and the in-between. And that's why it matters. It teaches us that it's okay to not be happy every second of every day. Real happiness might just be found in learning to ride the waves of life, knowing that even after a storm, the sun will eventually peek through again. The thought you can't shake. Have you ever had a thought that just wouldn't leave your mind? It's like your brain found a loop and keeps playing it. You try to think of other things, but there it is, humming softly or sometimes shouting louder than anything else. Here's the thing. People have felt this way forever. Even ancient thinkers noticed how some ideas just stick. They wondered why our minds lock onto a single thought and can't seem to let go. It's like a tiny, invisible string pulling that thought back. No matter how far you try to drift, think about a song, an earworm stuck in your head. You wake up, and the chorus is already playing. You try to focus on school, but the beat is still there. Beneath your concentration, Your mind has decided it's the main event, even if you don't like the song much. And that's what these thoughts are like. It's not always a tune though. Sometimes it's a worry about an upcoming test, making you wonder if you studied enough. Or maybe it's something awkward you said to a friend in the hallway. You replay the moment over and over, wishing you could hit rewind and say something different. The more you try to push it away, the stronger it seems to become, like a ball you're trying to hold underwater. This mental loop shows us something important about our inner world. It reveals how our minds processed worries, memories, and things we care deeply about. These sticky thoughts aren't always bad, but they can be tiring. They are part of being human, a quiet reminder of how our brains work to understand our experiences. Perhaps they are even trying to tell us something, to make us pay attention to what truly matters or what needs resolve. It's a strange, deep maze where your mind wanders, sometimes without a clear path out, but knowing it's a shared human experience can bring a quiet comfort. Stuck on what someone said, have you ever had a few words, a short phrase, echo in your head long after they were spoken? It's like a song lyric that keeps playing, but these aren't from a catchy tune. These are words someone said to you, or maybe about you, and they just stick. They become a small maze in your mind, a thought you can't quite shake, twisting and turning. Sometimes they even keep you up. Here's the thing, words have incredible power. They can build bridges or carve deep valleys in our minds. For centuries, thinkers have pondered this. Ancient philosophers knew how important words were, how they shaped beliefs and feelings. They understood that what we hear doesn't just pass through us. Often, it settles down, building a small home in our thoughts. Maybe a friend casually mentioned, "Oh, you always do that." Or a teacher said, "You're capable of more." These simple sentences become more than just sounds. They can feel like a heavy stone placed right in your path. You might replay the moment, wondering what they really meant, or if it says something deep about you. It's like a tiny pebble in your shoe you can't get out, making every step feel a little off, and that's why it matters. This feeling of words getting stuck deep inside isn't about being weak. It's about being human, about caring what others think and trying to understand our place in the world. Our minds are complex spaces, sometimes holding on to things we didn't mean to pick up. But maybe understanding this feeling is the first step toward finding a path through that maze, not out, but through. It's about learning to acknowledge these echoes, and then, gently, letting them soften. The fear of judgment. Have you ever felt a knot in your stomach, just before you share an idea, or try something new? It's that quiet voice, wondering what others will think. This is the fear of judgment. It's that heavy feeling when you imagine others judging your choices, your words, yourself. We've always cared what others thought. For a long time, living in tribes, being accepted meant survival. If the group saw you as different, it was dangerous. This deep need to fit in is wired into us. Even ancient thinkers in old Greece discussed how much people cared about their reputation. It's not new. Here's the thing. This fear can feel like a silent maze. Imagine a brilliant idea for a school project, but then you picture your classmates. What if they laugh? What if they just don't get it? So, you keep the idea to yourself. You pick a safer, more boring option. That feeling, the one that makes you hold back, that's the fear of judgment. It's a maze with no clear exit. It just loops, asking what if. But here's what I found. Almost everyone feels this, deep down. Even confident people worry what others think. Knowing we all share this deep worry can make it less lonely. It teaches us that sometimes, the bravest thing is to gently step out of that maze, one small, authentic choice at a time, even when those imagined eyes feel heavy. The trap of later. Have you ever said, "I'll do it later," maybe for homework, a chore, or something important? That word, later, feels like a soft pillow, a safe place for things you don't want to deal with right now. It promises a future where you'll be more ready, or have more time. But here's the thing about later. It's a trap. It's not a real place. It's an idea pulling you from the present. When we push things to later, we feel a tiny relief at first. A small weight lifts, but as minutes turn to hours, then days, that weight doesn't disappear. It grows. It becomes a quiet worry. Even thinkers from long ago noticed this habit. They knew putting things off can steal time and peace. They understood the present moment is the only one we truly own. Later is always just out of reach, always moving as we try to get there. Imagine a science project. You have weeks. You say, "I'll start later." Days pass. Later. Suddenly, It's the night before it's due. Your mind races. Your hands feel clumsy. The stress is huge. That project, which could have been calm, becomes panic. The ease of later turns into the rush of now or never. The quiet sadness of later is in the things that never get done. Kind words left unsaid. New skills never learned. Dreams that sit there, gathering dust, because we wait for a perfect later that never arrives. It's a quiet ache for what could have been, and that's why it matters. So maybe the true power isn't in finding a better later, but in embracing the simple now. Every small later adds up, slowly building a wall between you and your possibilities. The present is where everything happens. It's the only real chance we get. The wish for things to be different. Have you ever sat quietly, just wishing a day hadn't happened, or a difficult feeling would just leave you alone? This quiet longing, this ache for things to be reshaped, is something we all carry inside. It's like walking through a maze, seeing all the turns and dead ends, and deep down, just wishing the walls would disappear, wishing for a new path, a different ending, even when you know you can't wave a magic wand. Here's the thing, people have felt this way for thousands of years. Think about ancient stories where heroes wished for strength or wisdom to change their fate. Philosophers, even long ago, wondered about this deep human need to escape pain or find joy. They knew our minds can sometimes feel trapped, like a bird in a cage longing for the sky. This isn't a new feeling, it's woven into what it means to be human, to feel stuck and still yearn for freedom. Imagine you're trying to build something complex with but one piece is missing, and the whole thing keeps falling apart. You might sit there, hands on your head, just wishing that one piece would magically appear, or that you had chosen an easier set. That feeling, that moment of wanting reality to shift, is what we're talking about. It's not about being weak, it's about experiencing a powerful desire for things to be different than they are, and that's why it matters. This wish isn't a flaw, it's a window. It shows us what we value, what we hope for, and what our hearts truly need. Even when we can't change the maze, acknowledging that wish, that quiet yearning, can be a path itself. It's a gentle reminder that even in tough places, our spirits still reach for light, still dream of open spaces. It tells us we are always, in our own way, seeking to grow, seeking to understand. Getting caught in a lie. Have you ever felt that quick, cold rush in your stomach, right when a small untruth you told starts to unravel? That moment when the words you spoke earlier suddenly don't line up with reality anymore. It's like stepping onto thin ice, and you can feel it cracking beneath your feet. Getting caught in a lie isn't just about facing consequences. It's about that quiet, internal shift. It's the instant your world, built on a shaky foundation of pretend, begins to tilt. Here's the thing about truth. It's like the strong ground we all walk on. For a long time, thinkers have told us how important it is. Even ancient Greek philosophers talked about how trust makes a society work. When you lie, it's like digging a small hole in that ground, and then another, trying to cover the first one. Each lie makes the path less stable, not just for others, but for you too. Your mind gets busy remembering which version of the story you told to whom. Imagine you told your parents you finished your chores, but you secretly rushed through them, or maybe didn't do them at all. You just wanted to go hang out with friends. Then, your mom asks a specific question about something you should have done, and you hesitate. Your heart starts to beat faster. That little pause, that flicker in your eyes, that sudden stammer in your voice, that's the moment the lie is exposed. The world around you seems to sharpen, and everything feels exposed. It's a heavy feeling, isn't it? The weight of what you said, hanging in the air. But here's what I found. When you choose truth, even when it's hard, it's like stepping onto solid earth again. It might be tough for a moment, but the air clears. The pathways in your mind become simple again, and that's why it matters. Choosing truth builds a quiet, strong peace inside you, a peace that doesn't need to look over its shoulder. The battle to be yourself. Have you ever felt lost, like you're in a maze, where every turn leads to someone else's idea of who you should be? Here's the thing about growing up. Many voices tell you how to act. Friends, family, online trends. They whisper, or sometimes shout, what to like, what to believe. It's a constant pull. Finding your own voice, your own way, is one of the most important battles we face. Think about it. Long ago, the Greek thinker Socrates said, "Know thyself." He meant understanding who you are, deep inside, not who others expect you to be. Just you. This search for your true self has always been a quiet struggle for humans. It's a puzzle across all time. Consider social media. You scroll, and everyone seems perfect. Coolest clothes, biggest laughs. Maybe you think, I should be like that. So you try to copy a style or opinion. It might not feel right, like a costume that's too tight. You feel a little fake, but you keep it on, wanting to fit in. This shows the constant push and pull. But here's the problem. Wear that costume too long, and you forget your real self. You lose your own voice. The battle to be yourself isn't against others. It's a win for yourself. It's about listening to that quiet, true part of you, trusting it. It's a journey. Finding that peace, that calm certainty in who you are, is a strength that truly lasts. The endless to-do list in your mind. Have you ever noticed that even when you're just sitting still, your mind isn't really quiet? It's like there's a secret list inside your head, always running. Not the one you write on paper, but a constant stream of thoughts. Did I finish that history project? I need to ask Sarah about practice. What should I eat later? Don't forget to charge my phone. This is your mind's endless to-do list, and it often feels like it never ends. It's a mental maze with no visible exit, always present. It can feel heavy, a silent pressure. Thinkers, centuries ago, noticed this too. People like the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, and later, wise monks in different cultures, wondered about this constant chatter. They saw this internal dialogue, this busy hum, as a deep part of being human. They knew how challenging it was to truly silence it, even for a moment. They called it different things, but the feeling was the same. A mind always working, always planning, always listing. It's an old experience, this crowded mind. It's kind of like having 20 tabs open on your computer browser. Even if you're only looking at one tab, maybe watching a video or reading an article, the other 19 are still there. They're using up memory in the background, just waiting to be clicked. Your mind does that. You might be really focused on reading a book for English class, but in the background, your brain is quietly reminding you about chores, tomorrow's science test, or that text message you forgot to send a friend. It's always there, humming along. And here's the thing, that's okay. It's not something broken about you or your mind. This constant busyness is just how our brains often work. Understanding this can actually bring a little peace, a quiet kind of comfort. It's not about forcing the list to disappear, because that's a tough maze to get through. Instead, it's about noticing it, acknowledging all those thoughts, and maybe, just for a moment, choosing which tab you want to pay attention to right now. Knowing your mind is always busy means you can also choose to give it a quiet space sometimes, even if only for a few breaths. You can just let the thoughts be. Why do I keep messing up? Have you ever felt that heavy sigh, that quiet question inside you? Why do I keep messing up? It's a feeling many of us know well, like you're stuck on a path that just twists back on itself. No matter how hard you try to find a clear way forward, it can feel like there's no exit, no way out of making the same mistakes. Here's the thing, often, what we call messing up is simply part of being human. It's part of learning, part of growing. These moments, while not good in the moment, are rich with meaning. Even old thinkers, centuries ago, like those in ancient Greece, they wrestled with this idea. They knew true understanding often meant admitting what you didn't know. They saw mistakes not as final stops, but as necessary steps on a long journey of discovery. Think about it this way. Imagine you're learning to ride a skateboard. You push off, wobble, and then you fall. You try again, and maybe you fall again, a little differently this time. Each bump, each scrape, each moment you don't quite get it right, that's not failure. It's information. Your brain and body are figuring out balance, speed, and how your weight shifts. You're learning the limits, and because you mess up, you adjust. You try a new way. So, those times you feel like you're messing up, they aren't dead ends. They are whispers showing you a different direction. They are moments for pause, for adjusting your focus. Here's what I found. Mistakes aren't there to stop you. They are there to guide you, to teach you something new about yourself and the world. And that's how we find our way, step by faltering step, toward deeper understanding. The burden of knowing too much. Have you ever learned something you wished you hadn't? Maybe a secret about a friend, or a truth about the world that made everything feel a little different. It's a strange feeling, like you've been given a heavy backpack that you didn't ask for, but you have to carry it. This is what we mean by the burden of knowing too much. It's not just having facts. It's the deep emotional weight that comes with those facts. The way they change your perspective and sometimes make things harder, not easier. It's a knowledge that makes the path ahead feel less clear, perhaps even a bit lonely. Think about people from history. Ancient Greek thinkers, like those who wrote about Pandora's box, understood this idea well. Once the box was opened, all the world's troubles flew out. You couldn't unsee them or put them back inside. The knowledge was out, and humanity had to live with it forever. It suggests that while curiosity is a powerful force, it sometimes leads to truths that are genuinely hard to carry, making you wish for the simpler ignorance you once had. Here's an example we might understand. Imagine you accidentally hear your favorite older sibling talking about moving far away for college, a plan they haven't told your parents yet. Suddenly, you know something big, something very important, that your parents don't. You have this information, and it changes how you look at your sibling, how you look at family dinners, even how you look at the future. You might feel lonely with this secret, or worried about how it will affect everyone. This new knowledge isn't a superpower, it's a quiet, heavy weight on your shoulders. Knowing too much can be like seeing cracks in something beautiful you once thought was perfect. It can make you feel alone because others don't see what you see, and you can't just unknow it. But here's the thing, carrying this weight also makes you stronger in a quiet way. It can push you to understand deeper, to be more careful with truths, and to think about the consequences of what you know and what you choose to share. It teaches you to walk through the world with a bit more wisdom, even if that wisdom sometimes comes with a quiet, thoughtful sigh. And that's a powerful kind of strength. Feeling like a fraud. Have you ever felt like you're just pretending? Like everyone around you thinks you're really good at something, but deep down, you know it's not true. Maybe you got a great grade on a project, or won an award, and while people praised you, a quiet voice in your head whispered, "They're wrong. I just got lucky." Soon, they'll realize I'm not actually smart enough or talented enough. This heavy feeling, where you believe you're a fake and are about to be exposed, is a real mental maze. It's like living with a secret, fearing the day someone will find you out. This isn't a new feeling, you know. Long, long ago, even wise thinkers in ancient Greece or Rome would sometimes question their own knowledge. They wondered if they truly understood the world, or if they were just putting on a show. They had moments where they doubted their own wisdom, even when others looked up to them. It shows that even the most respected people have wrestled with these same thoughts of not being good enough. Here's the thing. Think about a time you tried something totally new, like learning to play an instrument or joining a new sports team. When you hit a perfect note or made a great play, you might have felt a rush of pride. But then, maybe the next day, you messed up, and that old voice came back. "See, I told you, you're not really a musician, you're not really an athlete." It's like your brain forgets all the good stuff and focuses only on the fear of failure. It's a tough path to walk, feeling like a fraud. But what if this feeling isn't a sign you're a fake, but actually a sign you care deeply? What if it means you have high standards for yourself, and you're always pushing to be better? It's okay to have these moments of doubt. Many people do. It doesn't mean you're fooling anyone. It just means you're human, and you're growing. And that's why it matters. Understanding this feeling can help you be kinder to yourself. The pressure to keep up. Have you ever felt like you're caught in a swift current, always paddling, trying hard just to stay in place? It's a feeling many of us know well. This quiet but constant thrumming inside. It's the pressure to keep up. It's the idea that there's a certain speed, a certain level you should be at. And if you're not, what then? It feels like a silent timer always urging you to do more, be better. Here's the thing, this feeling isn't new. Even long ago, people felt the pull to match their community, whether learning a new skill or keeping their crops healthy. Ancient thinkers spoke about the human habit of comparing. They talked about how society often sets invisible standards for success. But now, with instant connections and endless information, it feels different, doesn't it? The world seems to demand so much, so fast. Think about your phone. You see friends on social media, looking amazing, doing cool things, and showing off achievements. It can feel like everyone's life is a highlight reel, perfectly edited and always exciting, while yours is just ... daily life. And that's okay. But sometimes, this can make you feel like you need to add more, do more, be more, just to match what you see. It's like trying to grab every single star in the night sky. You reach, but they just keep appearing, endless and bright. This constant need to measure up can become a kind of mental maze. It pushes you forward, but sometimes it doesn't offer a clear path out, or even a moment to simply rest. This might work for you. True strength isn't always about racing to keep up with everyone else's pace. Maybe it's about finding your own rhythm, your own calm. Your journey is uniquely yours, and that's exactly how it should be. Sometimes, the bravest thing is to simply breathe and walk at your own speed, trusting your path. The maze of doubting yourself. Have you ever felt that quiet, nagging whisper in your mind? The one that asks, am I good enough? Or maybe it says, what if I mess up? That feeling, that question, is often the first step into the maze of doubting yourself. It's a mental labyrinth, not made of stone walls, but of thoughts. Here, every turn leads to another question about your abilities, your worth, your ideas. It can feel like being stuck in a room with 100 doors, but each one seems locked because a voice inside tells you you can't open it. For a long time, people have wrestled with this. Even wise thinkers from ancient Greece wondered about human nature and the doubts we carry. They knew that sometimes our biggest struggles aren't with outside problems, but with the quiet battles we fight inside our own heads. It's part of being human, this questioning. But here's the thing, it can make us freeze, stop us from even trying. Think about it like this. Imagine you're about to try out for the school play, or maybe you're just starting a tricky math problem. Before you even open your mouth or pick up your pencil, a thought pops up. I'm probably not good enough for this part, or I'm always bad at math. It's like an invisible wall goes up. That wall isn't real, but it feels solid because your own mind built it. This tiny moment of self-doubt can spread, making you believe you can't succeed before you've even truly begun. The maze of doubting yourself isn't meant to trap you forever. It's a space where we sometimes wander, but just knowing it's a maze, and not your true self, can make a difference. It's a reminder that these thoughts are just pathways, and you have the power to choose which path to follow, or even to step out of the maze entirely and trust in your own journey. When your mind won't shut off, ever had those nights when your brain just keeps going, circling the same thoughts again and again? It's like a quiet storm inside your head, where every thought is another drop of rain, tapping, never quite stopping. You want to rest, to find a moment of peace, but your mind just refuses to power down. Here's the thing, you are not alone in this feeling. For thousands of years, people have felt their minds get stuck. Ancient thinkers, like those in Greece or India, noticed how tricky our inner world could be. They saw how the mind could sometimes become a maze with no clear exit, leading us around and around the same corners of worry or wonder. They knew this restless feeling was part of being human. Think about it like this. Imagine your mind is a web browser with 100 tabs open all at once. Each tab is a thought, a worry, a memory, or a future plan. Even if you want to close them, they just won't shut. Or maybe it's like a song that gets stuck in your head, playing on repeat. No matter what, it's there. That's a bit like when your mind won't shut off. It's not broken. It's just very active. Sometimes too active for its own good. So, what does it mean when our minds act this way? Perhaps it means our brains are always working to understand the world, to make sense of everything. And that's okay. It's a sign of a brain that cares, that thinks deeply. While it can feel frustrating, maybe understanding this endless turning, this constant hum, is the first step. It reminds us that even in the quietest moments, our inner world is alive, always trying to figure things out, even when we wish it would just be still. And there's a quiet strength in simply knowing that. The loop of worrying about worrying. Have you ever worried so much that you started worrying about how much you were worrying? This is a bit like the loop of worrying about worrying. It's when your mind gets stuck, not just on the problem itself, but on the fact that you're worried, creating a second layer of concern. Here's the thing. We all worry sometimes. That's just part of being human. Maybe you're worried about a math test, or a tryout for the team, or even just what someone might think. But then, a strange thing can happen. You start to worry that your worry will make you perform badly, or you get upset with yourself for feeling so worried. And just like that, you're caught in a loop. The first worry feeds the second, and the second makes the first even stronger, tightening its grip. It's an old idea, actually. Philosophers from a long time ago, like the Stoics in ancient Rome, thought a lot about how our minds work. They noticed that sometimes we suffer more from what we imagine might happen than from what actually does happen. This isn't about stopping all worry, which isn't really possible. Instead, it's about noticing when your mind starts to spiral and understanding its nature. Think of it like this. You have a big school project due. You feel nervous about getting a good grade. That's natural. But then you start to worry. Oh no, I'm so stressed, I won't be able to focus, and I'll mess it up. That second worry is about the first worry. It's like a tangled knot inside your head. This can feel heavy, like carrying 2 backpacks instead of 1. But here's what I found. Just knowing this loop exists, just seeing it for what it is, can make a difference. It's like spotting the edge of a maze. You might still be in it, but now you understand how it's built. And that understanding, that quiet awareness, can be the first gentle step towards finding your way out, or at least, finding a quieter path through your thoughts. It helps you remember that some thoughts are just echoes of other thoughts, not always new problems to solve. The fear of making the wrong choice. Do you ever feel that strange little twist in your stomach when you have to pick between 2 things? Like really pick, and you know there's no going back. That feeling, that hesitation, it's the fear of making the wrong choice. It's not just about a small thing, like what to eat for lunch. It can be about bigger stuff, like which path to take in high school, or what to do after you graduate. We imagine all the bad things that might happen if we choose poorly. We think about the what-ifs, the chances we might miss, and sometimes that fear can be so strong, it keeps us from choosing anything at all. This isn't a new feeling. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers, like the Greek philosophers, understood this struggle. They knew that human life is full of decisions, and they talked about how we often get stuck, paralyzed by the thought of regret. Here's the thing, they saw it as part of being human. They wondered if living well meant learning to make choices, even when we feel afraid. It's like our minds try to protect us. But sometimes that protection feels like a trap. Think about it, like playing a video game where you reach a fork in the road. One path looks cool, but you've heard it's super hard. The other looks safer, but maybe a bit boring. You know once you go down one, you can't save and restart from the fork. This choice, even in a game, can feel huge. We imagine what we might lose by not picking the best path, even if we don't know what best truly means, and that's why it matters. This fear shows us how much we care about our future, about doing well. But here's the problem, sometimes there isn't one wrong or right choice, just different ones. The real challenge isn't avoiding bad outcomes, but learning from whatever path we choose. Maybe the purpose of these mazes isn't to find an exit, but to realize that the journey itself, with all its scary choices, is where we truly grow. It's okay to feel that fear, but it doesn't have to keep you standing still forever. Always searching for answers. Have you ever felt that quiet tug inside you, a tiny whisper asking why? Maybe about how the stars came to be, or why someone acted a certain way. That deep curiosity is a core part of being human. We are always searching. We are built to look for answers, even when the path is twisty or leads nowhere. Think about it. Long ago, people stared up at the night sky, wondering about everything. Where do we come from? What happens after we die? A wise man named Socrates, from ancient Greece, believed asking questions was the most important thing we could do. He felt a life without trying to understand wasn't truly lived. Here's the thing, sometimes, the journey of looking for an answer is more important than finding one perfect answer. Here's an example. Imagine you're trying to solve a tough puzzle. You move pieces around, try different angles, some don't fit. You might get frustrated, but that quiet pull to finish keeps you going. In life, it's like trying to understand why a song makes you feel a certain way, or why a story touches your heart. There isn't one simple answer. It's about exploring those feelings, thinking them through, and maybe even sharing your thoughts. So, here's what I think. Often, the answers we seek aren't clear-cut. They aren't a simple yes or no, and that's okay. The very act of searching, of wondering, of trying to make sense of things, changes us. It makes us more thoughtful. It helps us grow. It means we care deeply. In a world full of mysteries, maybe that quiet, deep search is the real treasure. It's the journey that truly matters.